Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Quarantine Stream.
Zach,
back at it.
You good?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Just make sure you weren't going to pass out.
yeah, I was gonna say anything sounds really good, Zach, when you end it with "ha ha."
How many?
It's like, what else could we add to there? Ah ha.
I'm just, I don't know. I'm just channel my inner James Brown, if you will.
Good stuff right there, James Brown.
Anyway, how's everybody doing today? We got a really important stream because we're going to break down the top 5 drift cars of all time. Or, well, these guys are.
Let's start with your list. Zach, what's your top 5 drift cars?
Ooh.
Oh, that's easy. F-250 dually, 350.
Okay.
Actually, 450. 450 super cab dually, pull in a gooseneck trailer. Yeah.
Kurt knows about that.
A little something.
Yeah. By the way, how is that 450?
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's think waterbed, jacuzzi, spa day, and puppy belly rubs, all in one. That's the feeling it gives you.
Nice. So, does it have an actual jacuzzi and a waterbed in it?
If you take a tarp,
Okay,
and put it in the back and fill it up with water, and then you can dry yourself off and go in the front and it has massage seats.
Damn.
So, yeah.
Hey, yesterday we were talking with Ryan Anderson going out to the Redneck Yacht Club. Hertz truck would be
I'm not hooking that thing.
It would it would just be the perfect mud cruiser.
Oh, I'd be getting all the yees.
Yee, yee. Hurt would be throwing the yee-yees out the window left and right.
Getting all the yees.
Oh, boys. Well, we're starting up. Why don't we start off hot and heavy with a Falcon shout out once again, guys. We always start the show, end the show, and have a halftime break with these guys. Once again, shout out to Falcon Tires, guys. We are here doing the ultimate debate. Falcon debate, tire debate, drift debate. And we need you guys in chat and Discord to help us out quite a bit because we had this conversation after we got off the last stream yesterday as we were nerding out talking about drift car stuff. We talked about what's the best drift cars, and we all had kind of our own opinion on what is considered the best drift car. But we're going to settle it fair and square right here. Meanwhile, big shout out to Falcon Tire. Make sure you guys blow them up on Instagram and show them some love for having us out here. Pow!
Pow! Pow!
Drift cars. Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and this is one of those debates that's almost a never-ending debate, but we need to squash it today. We need to squash it, settle it, be done with it.
This is a difficult thing to squash. It's always evolving, right?
I don't know how you guys think it's going to get squashed.
Well, I'll tell you how.
We've been having this argument for over 10 years between all of us.
I'll tell you how it's going to be squashed. Is what we're going to do is we're going to square up in the octagon. 1 versus 1 versus 1. 3 of us verbally arguing and debating what chassis and platform makes for one of the best drift cars. We'll have a top 5 list. We'll have to compare our top 5 lists. We'll break it down one by one.
Let's ask the people what their top 5 lists.
They're already going at it. Chat is having a war zone of their own right now.
I can see it. This
Chat,
is going to be a debate here.
Look at this. We starting off with JDM. AE86 S13 Fox Body E36 350Z. Ellis Rx-7. Datsun 510. Seeper HKS D1 Altezza. Now keep in mind, guys, the best drift car is something that is also we're all capable of building. I'm sure we could build the HKS S15. I'm sure we could, but that's like a long-term project. But what is something that's already halfway there? Let's see what else we got. E36, a lot of E36s right now. Michael Donnelly spamming E36. E30 says Claude, but E30s, guys, E30s are getting a little harder to find, a little more expensive.
Yeah, all the guys in 24-hour lemons have just been buying them up and smashing them up.
Oh,
Disrespect.
they're burying the E30 chassis, which I have an E30 and I love the car. I wish I didn't cut it up because now they're almost impossible to find. And if you do find them, they're $5,000 plus for a coupe. They're just skyrocketing in price. E36. Jay Skrill says E46 C5. Ooh, we got a first American C5, and we had the Fox body.
Dylan, and Dylan.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah. Pontiac Sunfire coming in hot.
Rob Brownie Cole says the torque sign. Heard is the torque sign to the best drift car. Asking for a friend. I'm asking for a friend. Hey, hey.
I'm pretty sure in 2014, 15, and 16, Torque Stallion won Formula D, Super D, whatever they all do in other countries.
Other
all over
Ds.
the world. It was the world heavyweight champion.
But see, that's the thing about drift cars is winning championships doesn't make it the best drift car.
Fair enough.
Didn't matter. Didn't even compete in it one.
Yeah, that
It wins a lot of things. In my heart, anyway.
So FCRX-7, was that your first drift car? Was the Torque Stallion your first drift car?
Not the Torque Stallion, but FCRX-7, yes.
So Torque Stallion now is an evolution of version 1 FCRX-7, which was Torque Senior.
I was such a nerd. My first RX-7, my first drift car, I used to call it sex. I don't tell anybody that.
Oh no!
Oh man!
Before the Torque came around, Hertz's first FCRX-7 was called Sex. Our Sex 7, dude.
That was, what was I? I was like 18 or 19 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Before your brain's fully developed.
Yeah.
So you're basically Dan in his background picture right here.
Yeah,
Trying to punch a
basically.
square into a circle hole. That's
We all
Dan
get
in the...
stuck somewhere. Just hammering on a toolbox.
All right, I never really had a street drift car, but my first car was a Volkswagen Bug. It was a 1967 Volkswagen Beetle, and my first time drifting was actually in that. Being an idiot, once again, my brain wasn't fully developed at this time either. I was probably 15 or 16 years old, and I tried doing the whip and nay through an intersection, and I ended up looping her, making a left-hand turn like a moron, and then I stuffed it into a curb. But that was my first experience. The Volkswagen Beetle is not the best drift car, it's tested and proven, but I've evolved over the days. And I didn't have a name for that thing, but it'd probably be called the stink bug, because if you don't know this, Volkswagens, the old Bugs, actually they have a recirculatory exhaust system that pumps into the cab, and I was running that system at the time.
I'm just glad I got better at naming cars as I got older.
My first skid was in a Mustang.
Oof.
That was my first skids. Like, wasn't really drifting at that point. I was just like, look, I can do figure eight. And then after that, a buddy and I kind of shared a 8.6 Corolla, and then I bought an S14. That was my first drift car, S14.
Well, you start off big timer. I get it. We get it, Dan. You start off big time, proper chassis, proper platform. And chat's still going crazy, guys. Please keep spamming those chassis, because right now it's going to be a war zone.
Getting into it?
We're getting into it. Dan, do you want us to fire this thing off, Dan?
You want me to start?
So what was it you're talking about, the Skyline?
Some of the parts from the S13 will swap over to R32, S14, R33. So it's kind of cool that you can mold those things back and forth. And I was just telling Corey the other day, like, one of the easiest ways to do an RB swap, if you're looking into doing an RB swap, is to just change out the suspension on a Skyline to S chassis stuff. Because actually putting that engine into an S chassis is difficult, but putting S chassis suspension on a Skyline is quite a bit easier.
So is the and sorry for all the questions, but
Yeah.
Is the Skyline body, it's a unibody car, right? So is the body actually, is it bigger than a S chassis?
Yeah, not really. It's about the same size. I mean, exterior, it looks like it's physically bigger, but as far as like wheelbase and stuff, it's not too much different.
Okay.
So Skyline, what if you were to have any version of Skyline, what would it be?
So for me, I personally like the 32, but I'll bring something up for you. I I really enjoy the 33. So if you guys have never seen the Driftworks R33, that is something that you need to see. So let's see here. I will try and grab a little photo of that. But any argument to me on the Skyline? What do you guys feel about that? What you thought?
Yeah, you go through your list, and we'll let everybody populate their list.
Yeah, I'll keep going on that. The Skyline 5 for me. I'll go number 4 is the Mustang.
Okay.
Which version of the Mustang?
No, just Mustang in general, buddy. Just Mustang, because there's so many different options for us. Like, for me, I mean, the Fox body's fun, but it doesn't have as much. It's cheap, it's easy. You're a set of coilovers away from just having a drift car, and that can be super, super fun. I mean, from the factory, the new cars, right? A set of you hardly even need coilovers anymore. It's just aesthetics at that point. They're just drift cars.
The chassis is so much different from a Fox body to an SN95 to a 197 to whatever it is now. Is it a 197 still now, or is it something different?
I couldn't even tell you, but it's so nice to use because you don't need anything. It's already done for you. Like suspension, that's basically it. You got a big V8. It's reliable. It's easy. You got AC. Like, if you want a drift car for that, that's great. But if you go up to like pro level stuff and functionality there, I mean, look at JTP. Like, his car is a monster. It's so fast. It's so competitive. So even on a base level of just learning how to do skids and just whatever you want there, up to the pros, like the pros are using them today and they're competitive. It's not like anything to be here. Let me show you. Let me see if I can. Here's an example for me on JTP's car here. Let me know if you guys have
fun, exciting run. So Odie leads the pack with a 92.
He optimized?
Yeah.
5%.
Okay.
Here goes JTP. Justin
Look at that.
Whoa, flirting with that wall. Little smooch. Little smooch never hurt nobody.
The style of JTP too, another Falcon driver.
And he's running a 5.0 with like a Roush supercharger. In this.
I think it's a 5.2.
Was a little offline, so he had to just make a slight adjustment there.
A monster. But I mean, that as far as it goes on a pro level, that stuff is crazy. So yeah. That's an argument for me there. As a Mustang is number 4.
Okay.
I'll go to number 3. Mine is kind of a hard thing for me because it could easily be on the top of my list. It's a JZX 100.
Ooh.
I love the style of it. I mean, you can take your friends in it. It's a 4-door. It's got a JZ. It's just a good car. It's a nice, easy chassis to drive. I did a little D1 feeder series in Japan, and I drove a JZX 100 Mark II, and it was fantastic. It was so much better than my Skyline that I was a little nervous to drive it. I was like, man, I could drive this so much harder than I thought, and it's so good. Plus, working on the team with Andrew Gray and seeing some of the stuff that he had, wow, that car was just unreal.
What that comes with a 1J, right? Right out of the box?
The 90s have a non-VVTi 1J, and the 100 has a VVTi 1JZ. So yeah,
so out of the box, you're making almost 3 Hunsky.
Good power. It's a fun vehicle. Was that last video okay?
That was fine. Yeah, that was fine.
All right, because I got another one for you, and this is one of the cars that I was working on here. This is also a video, my buddy. I'm gonna turn out the sound a little bit. Tell me if it's okay.
Yep. We got you loud and clear.
All right, so just the sound of this bad boy and just how quick this is. This is at Ebisu in Japan.
Oof.
My buddy Sean Alessi shot this video too. It's really cool. Shout out to Sean. But this.
That's and you worked with Andrew Gray, didn't you?
Yeah, I love it. Never seen you guys at Power View. Just hanging out with these cars.
Unreal.
But that's more of a competition aspect that I know Herd's going to bring in some style here, right? So, yeah, 3 for me was JZX 100.
Okay. So, 5th, Nissan Skyline, Ford Mustang, number 4. Number 3, Toyota Chaser. Your number 2 and number 1, what you got?
Number 2, I got an S chassis. And that's a difficult one for me because I own one. And it was my first drift car. I absolutely love it. But, you know, it's the most versatile, right? It's got good style. It's got the most backing. You can put anything in it. It's just Legos, dude. Everything goes in it. It's very simple to drive. You can create so many different styles from it, from the look that you want, even the being competitive. Like, for me, it's the most versatile drift car that you can buy.
Now, would you go? Are you talking about any S chassis, like 13?
NES chassis, yeah. So like the differences between them, they aren't too different, right? Like the S13 would be a little bit snappier, like this. This is my old S13 1JZ, and then the S14 is a little lazier. Like it has just like a nice smooth flow to it. Same with the S15.
Is that because of wheelbase or width or?
It's both, little length and width. So the S13 being a little bit shorter, a little bit narrower wheelbase makes it a little more snappy, right? So the longer wheelbase and the S14 and stuff like that, it feels a little bit better as far as smoother. So, but I mean, everything is going to be aftermarket on these cars now. The S13, you're going to run S14 control arms anyway, so it's almost irrelevant. You're going to run almost all the same things. And it's just a difference in setup, whatever you feel like. But to learn, I mean, a KA, you know you got to work for that, right? And it teaches you all the good things. Learning on a low-power motor like that in a KA is going to teach you all the right things about driving a car. And then you can go up to what we got today, Corey, like both you guys, right? We have all of our cars are over 500 horsepower in all of our chassis.
Well, even going back to, like, once again, we say the Prime days, but the Prime days are still happening. But go back 5-6 years ago, FD was running, no, even a little bit further than that. Let's say, because 6 years ago, let's say 10 years ago, back to the origin of Formula Drift and Pro Drift in the United States, 300-400 horsepower, dude. That was a pro car. That was a pro car. Now it's so easy to build these 400 or 500 horsepower cars, and you look at yours, and you're making, 500 stock bottom end.
Yeah. It's insane to me to see stuff like that, and the progression between the boys and what's going on now with the Wordhouse Drift team, like they've taken over.
And let's get your number 1 on the board.
Number 1 for me, it's a weird one.
Okay.
And I have a reason to argue it. It's a Mazda Miata.
A Miata.
Mazda Miata.
Mazda Miata.
All right. Explain yourself on this one.
I saw Hertz Lights light up there. He's like, Miata.
Well, no, I actually love Miatas.
So, all right, the reason for me, drifting to me comes down to just having fun behind the wheel, right? Driving. Seat time. There is, if you go to a drift event, grassroots level drift event, and you look around, you see one dude out on track, it's a dude in a Miata, I guarantee you, because he's not going through tires, he's not overheating, he's just out there ripping, right? You can bring the tires you drove up on and rip all day long, hardly even change a set of tires and have just as much fun. I mean, you get the speed, you get the thrill of everything. You're just not blowing tires off, and you're not sitting in the pits. That's right. Don't sit in the pits. Drive the Miata. And, I mean, it's cheap. It's got major aftermarket support. And, I mean, you can modify it to make it really, really fast, put an engine. I mean, look at Shark Kart, right? Shark Kart's 300 horsepower. You imagine that in an NA Miata? That would be ridiculous for like a street vehicle.
How are the Miatas cost nowadays?
It depends, man. Like, one that's overlooked is the NC Miata, and my buddy has one, and it's pretty sick. He's doing like a EcoBoost or any motor like that you can get out of Mazda Speed or something like that. They're very cheap and it's easy to mod. But a couple grand, you can get an NA Miata and just rip and just have fun. 1.6, 1.8, doesn't matter. But for me, most of them come manual, right? It's almost hard to find an automatic. They have a diff in it. And so your 5-speed diff, all you need is coilovers. That's it. Have fun.
I'm on Craigslist right now, and the crazy thing I'm seeing is like, from like all the way from like a first gen, like a 1990 Miata is like right around, a lot of people are asking $4,000 or $5,000, right? And then 2006 Miata, $4,600. 2003 Miata, $2,000. I'm just reading off as I'm scrolling down here, but
here, just have a look at this, guys. Like, you can make them look pretty dang good.
Yeah,
that's actually pretty sick looking,
right? I mean, that does not just look fun. And I personally like the.
That's a pretty car. I remember those cars.
Aren't they sick?
Yeah.
Is that like 98?
Yeah, in between there, like 99, 2001.
Yeah, people definitely sleep on those. Those are actually pretty hot.
It's a good looking car, and they're super fun. That's my top 5, guys. Awesome. That's my number 1.
All right. Well, keep in mind, guys. Let's.
I've got photos. I've got videos. Let's just get it out there.
So right now, guys, keep in mind. So Dan went through his top 5. Hurt and myself. We're gonna go through our top 5. Remember, we have Jason Ellis in about 37 minutes to 35 minutes. So make sure you guys are gonna be sticking around for us. We have about 37 minutes ETA, which I'm sure Ellis might have some input on unique drift cars. But
it was basically the early when people would like 5-liter swap a Miata. And it was basically they ran a 5.0 Mustang engine with like heads and cam and an intake and a T5 and like nothing else, and it ran like a 10.9.
That's the Monster Miata, man.
Monster Miatas, yeah. Now people are sticking LS motors in them because they're actually smaller and way lighter than the 302, and it's like now they're just ridiculous.
The V8's ridiculous, and it kind of throws off a lot about the car that I think is cool.
I honestly think like after I've driven Shark Kart, and it's like one of the coolest things to drive because like it makes all the power you want to, and you can just sit it on the limiter. I've watched Hurt beat the living piss out of it, and it like takes it every time. I've watched you beat the piss out of it, and it doesn't break. The only time it breaks is when Von Getten slams it into a K-rail sideways.
Yeah, dude. When I saw in chat here too, a K-swapped Miata, and that's cool as well. I had a friend with a J series Miata, which is out of Acura TL or a Honda Odyssey.
There's a company called K Miata. Some of their parts are actually on my 240. They make the rear-wheel drive intake manifold and a bunch of the coolant routing and things like that. So,
could you imagine your motor hurt in a Miata?
Yeah. Well, they're in there. Just people don't need to turbo them because
I'm just saying. Could you imagine driving that and just being? I mean, the NA power alone of a K series would be unreal.
Is a K series an iron bottom end or aluminum?
I don't know, man. I'm not a Honda guy.
Good question.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
All right. So, all right, Hurt. Let's jump to Hurt. Do you have a top 5, Hurt? Kind of put together?
I guess.
You got some. We talked about this last night. This is probably one of the most difficult decisions we ever had to make in our lives. But
all right. So, I'd say my number 5 would have to be the BMW E chassis.
Ooh.
So E30, E36. Well, mostly E36, E46.
Yeah.
The E92 is also amazing. Hence the Eurofighter, the car that James Dean is piloting. Actually, here I'll show you a couple things. So, but it's just so the E chassis would be higher on my list probably, but they're just kind of ugly compared to other cars, and that's a big part of what makes the best drift car in my opinion. I think the E92s are beautiful. I think E46s can look super cool, and same with E36s. But when you compare them to S chassis, RX-7s, A86s, JZXs, they don't stack up as far as looks go. But I will not deny that James Dean's Eurofighter is absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
Oof.
That thing rules.
Yeah, he just posted this yesterday. Oh, give that a little boop boop. But it's just stunning, you know? And it's like an all-carbon chassis. And you put a championship driver like James Dean in it, and it's unstoppable. So I think he won the championship in this car last year, right?
Yeah, over in Europe, and that's all.
Yeah, the drift. Yeah, and it was his first time in the chassis after, and he was hopping in and out of S chassis while doing it. So.
Jack Shanahan won last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I think so. Drift Masters?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure James Dean swept everything he was in.
Dude. And that's HGK has been producing these rocket ships.
You know, so Chelsea DeNofa, I'm from Florida. He isn't originally from Florida, but he grew up a lot in Florida, and this is where I first met Chelsea and stuff. But watching him compete in Formula Drift in a garage-built E46 over and over again and look and be competitive, because, you know, these cars are on the field are $250,000.
Yep.
Where his was probably like an $80,000 build, you know, and that's not including all the fixing, you know. I know.
Oh yeah,
he broke a lot of stuff, but this car was gnarly and kept up, and it was fairly basic considering the field. So, but what he was capable.
This is a throwback right here.
Ooh.
Big Hux, and he was probably one of the most aggressive drivers ever stepping in these chassis.
And if he didn't have this car. There's no saying that Vaughn would have discovered him and put him in a Mustang, you know.
Did he just throw like a legal document sized like 13 by 9 piece of aluminum on the side of that wing?
Yeah. So the thing about the wing ends is when you're chucking it that hard, it actually makes a difference.
I bet it does, man. I mean, it's a big piece of metal.
So it actually helps the stop of rotation, so you can throw it super aggressive and you just hit a wind wall, which keeps you there, and you just floor it through it. So someone in chat said Vaughn didn't discover Chelsea. That's not what I said. I said Chelsea in this E-chassis shredding helped Vaughn choose him to go on his second Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Let's also not forget Chelsea coming and doing the first dock figure eights at the old garage.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He opened up the dock figure eights also in his E36.
He's got all those things up in the Northwest too that he's just been ripping. They just build E36s and just destroy them up there, and they have so much fun at his drift school.
So it's a great chassis, you know.
So number 5, BMW E chassis.
Yeah, like it just shows.
Oh, you want to give us a little more real quick?
Dock figure eights real quick, because this is, and this high five wasn't planned either.
Dude,
high five right there.
That dude Chelsea has some hands.
You
Chelsea's a monster, man. What'd you say?
You optimized there? It's looking real patchy.
Dude, and by the way, that man line.
Yeah.
I saw this car in person at Desert Mayhan out here, I would say, a few months ago, and he's still shredding the hell out of that thing, and it just seems bulletproof. Not only that, there's so much adjustability, and also look at Micah Diaz.
Oh
yeah. Micah Diaz is, and then not even that, just my boys over in Poland, the Style Bangers. I don't know if you saw the.
Yep.
I can't believe I didn't pull that up.
Euro Stallion.
Yeah, the Euro Stallion, man. We'll. I know we got to keep it moving, but
we got one more. So far, Dan, you didn't throw down. If we go back to Dan's list real quick, Dan didn't have E chassis, and there was one point where Dan did have an E chassis. You did have a BMW at one point.
I have two. I have an E46.
Technically, he's got a purple one that he doesn't own.
Yeah, that too. The Knuckle Busters chassis. But my blue one as well. The E46 is awesome. It's so nice. I paid $1,500 for that. Welded the diff, threw some BC coilovers on it, some Falcon 6.
This thing.
Oh,
I lied when I said they're not the prettiest. This is my favorite E36 of all time.
That's tough, yeah.
I love this car. Oh my god! And it drove. You know, it drove. Now, honestly, I feel bad that I put this E-chassis on 5 because like the experience I had driving this car, I literally got in it and shredded like one of my best shred weekends ever.
Is it moving up your list now? Did you talk yourself in?
Hey, we still have to figure out the grand finale.
But see, that's the thing is E-chassis didn't used to look like this. This is a new thing. Now they have an aero package.
Yeah.
So the guy chasing me, that's you don't know with these cars. But the E-chassis are
That's dope.
I just talk myself back.
Well, let's get.
I'll update.
Yeah, let's get your list on the board, and then we'll start shuffling because you might have just made me change my mind a bit on that one.
Someone said stop calling them E-chassis. I'm not gonna stop calling them E-chassis. Brian hates it when I call them E-chassis too. Vin hates it when I call them E-chassis, but they're E-chassis, okay?
You just keep doing you, all right?
E36, E46, E30.
All right. What's number 4?
So I'm just gonna go ahead and flip it on you. E-chassis is number 4. I'm gonna show you number 5. I'm gonna show you my number 5 now.
Oh.
All right. Okay.
So my number 5 is the S chassis.
Okay.
And you know, I know that's a low number for arguably one of the best drift cars ever, but it's just, it boils down to a lot of things. There's just so easy that I think it takes away some of the essence. But they're great cars. Like nothing drives easier than the S chassis. They're super easy to mod. They're super easy to find parts for. They're super easy to pretty much do everything with them. But for me personally, the level of easy brings them down on my list. So, but I will show you.
How much you like to struggle.
That's fair.
Yeah, I love to struggle.
Yeah.
I love struggling so much. I also love having cool cars. So
we were kind of deep in the S chassis. So what's your number 3?
Eat shit, Zach. I'm showing you this video.
Oh, you're about to show us. My bad. Hey, talk. Be closer to the microphone when you're talking, like, because when you're up close, you can hear you, but when you pull back, we can't hear you very much.
This is just something you gotta see.
Oh,
Roy, Paradise. You know, cars like this, like this Mayhan run right here. Yep. I just love seeing people. And then if you go down a little further, you got the legendary back.
Yep.
And then you go a little further. Oh wait, it's right here. No, sorry.
Dude, one of my favorite is actually Kazama in an S chassis.
Yeah, Kazama's got some bangers too. But yeah, so S chassis is my number 5. They're great cars. I love them. I have one. And the reason I have one currently, the reason I built the SSTS is pure simplicity, pure just driving, seat time, blah, blah, blah. Like I just wanted the easy car. Cooler. You know what? You know what, Will Rogie? You just said you were leaving. So
we're watching chat right now, and they're either scumbagging or agreeing with the poll so far.
See your way out, okay?
All right, Hurt. What do you got a banger for number 3?
Number 3 is arguably the grandfather of drift, the Toyota Corolla A86. It's hard to make it the best drift car because of its slight limitations, but at the end of the day, as Dan said with his Miata pick, it's just about fun and seat time.
Yep.
You don't need the horsepower to have a good drift day. It's a beautiful car. It's rare. It's very rare, and you have to be fully committed to drifting to even think about owning one. Yep. So, the Corolla is a number 3 for me.
3?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's a part of history in drifting. Nice.
Yeah, it's a part of history, and honestly, it's almost blasphemy not to label it number 1. But I just have other favorite cars. You know, everyone's different. So.
Oh, best video on the internet.
Yo, this dude is on.
Yeah. So if you've never seen this video, I think it's Whale. This is one of the rowdiest. Listen to this thing.
Ueno, dude, this. Yo, when he's running the wall and doing this, it's like I don't know what's happening, but he is working the hell out of that thing.
Chopping the wheel, man.
It looks like he was getting sucked into the wall and trying to keep himself like off of it.
You don't see him touch the handbrake in a long time.
Nope. That is the most incredible thing too, might I add.
The Corolla drivers are a different breed, and I'm very excited to learn the way. Running free, he might be the current king of A86s. His car is so nasty.
Oh, the running free 8.6.
Yeah. Just watch this quick commercial break of some noodles being prepared.
All right, so Hertz top 5 is Nissan S chassis, BMW E chassis, Corolla number 3. And then we have this maniac.
All right, so yeah, A86 number 3. Just listen, take some time, go on YouTube, look up running free A86, and enjoy yourself some videos because. And Noriaro just recently posted some stuff with him. It's amazing. Shout out to Noriaro. Number two is the JZX 100.
Ooh, I think that's the only similarities that we, as far as ranking goes. I think Dan, are you number 2? That
was 3.
Number 3.
Yeah, JZX 100 is number 2 for me. For multiple reasons. I always thought I loved the Chaser, but recently I think I love the Mark II. But the Cresta is also awesome. I'm going to show you a video of a Cresta that Noriaro took. It's one of my favorite JZX 100 videos. But basically, I've never drifted a JZX either, so I'm not speaking from personal experience.
It's so good.
But I have a lot of friends who've drifted them, and if you. Daigo Saito dominated professional drifting with the JZX 100 for quite some time, and I always wanted him to bring it to the U.S., but you know, money makes you bring other cars, so that is what it is. But the JZX 100 is a monster, and also, so not only on the competition spectrum on the pro level, but at Final Bout last year, arguably the best car on the field was a stock motor suspension only mod JZX 100.
Nope.
It was the best car on the field. It looked great, it drove amazing, and it drove all day.
What did Ron have? What was he driving?
JZX 90.
So 90. It's the slightly older version, which are still great chassis. But,
great.
Can you pull up a 100?
I like the look of a 100.
I have it pulled up already. I'm just talking about it real quick. It's just it's got everything: the looks, style, drivability, sounds, everything.
Power plant,
everything. Amazing. No, I'm not talking about Rich Whiteman. It wasn't even Rich Whiteman's JZX. It was C. Jackson, the silver one.
Wait, was Rich Whiteman a dude's name?
It's actually his name.
Yeah. Man.
So here's this video. Here's this video that Noriaro posted a while back. It's one of my favorite JZX clips of all time.
And that fitment in
Man, too, huh?
like that blast pipe.
Warming her up here. He's about to give her the beans right now. Go say.
So good.
This four-wheel Mazda. Yeah. Oh yeah. Here.
Ooh.
That shit.
So hot. That's me on the set, of course.
That's it.
Corey Hoskins live stream.
That's us yesterday, baby. Oh my god.
Yeah. By the way, if you don't know, if you're
This could have been wrong car almost. This could have been wrong car.
Kurt, we can't hear you at all. The volume is so loud on the video coming through the speakers that it's muting everybody out.
one more entry. One more entry.
Okay. This is big. Look at this. Ron, I see Ron Carr in chat right now. Please tell me this hits you in the feels, Ron. Let's get an F in chat for Ron Carr selling his JZX, guys. Let's get some F spammed. This could have been Ron Carr could have lived the best life right here.
So yeah, so that's just one clip. You can go and dive in and do your research. But you couldn't hear me. What'd you ask again?
Oh no, I was gonna say because the video is so loud, we couldn't hear you. We couldn't hear that beautiful deep.
Oh well, I don't remember what I was saying. I was just praising these cars greatly, but
Assetto Corsa, that's you and Assetto Corsa.
Oh yeah, I was saying that's me and Assetto Corsa. And if you're bored after our streams, Corey Hosford's been killing it on Twitch from 7 p.m. hosting the greatest Assetto Corsa room of all time. So make sure to go check out his live stream after, and it's the best. But all right, so JZX 100 is number 2 on my list. It's a great car, and I've never driven it, which makes me sad, but I will own one someday. Don't tell my lady I said that, but I will own one someday.
Okay.
The fleet grows ever so deep.
So this is your number 1, Hurt. What are you swinging on us?
My number 1. My number 1. Are you ready for my
swinging on us?
Are you ready for my
bring it. We can't wait. Number 1, baby. Throw it down. Let's go.
The number 1 drift car.
Oh boy. You're gonna do one of these things. It's a car. It has 4 wheels. It has a steering wheel.
It's the Mazda Rx-7, baby.
Oh,
it's the Mazda Rx-7.
Which version? Which version?
The FC.
The FC Rx-7.
It's just what it is, man. It's arguably so. All right, style points. It's a bit rare in the sense of not everybody wants them. You know.
Yep.
They make a shit ton of grip. They're super versatile. You can put whatever motor you want in them. And did I mention that they're beautiful?
It's just a really hard to work on S13.
But it's not though. What makes it hard to work on?
Yeah, like it's just a different science to me, rotary stuff. So
I mean, stuff is in different places, but essentially it's the same basics. You know, the diff comes out easy, everything comes out easy. My car is just broken because I beat it up for a long time. But the FC chassis. So all right, here, look, Jeremy Lowe. Do you know who Jeremy Lowe is?
Yep.
Jeremy Lowe has always had. So funny story. my first RX-7 when I let it go and I moved on from RX-7s for a little bit just because I couldn't afford to build them at the time, and I was moving into S chassis. Jeremy Lowe came into my town and took over the RX-7.
Oh,
like he just like he was like, hey man, hey little guy, this is how you build RX-7s and drive them. And I was just in awe, you know.
Jeremy Lowe, Formula Drift, FCRX7.
So, and that's the issue, like, because people don't see him in that light because they've never been competitive.
Yep.
But nobody with hundreds of thousands of dollars has chosen an F chassis to build. They always build S chassis or Z's or Mustangs or whatever, you know. Like, if I ever become a rich boy, I'm gonna build the crap out of an F chassis and show the people what's up.
Well, but you're wrong.
What am I wrong about?
About building that. I mean, I guess nobody has built the FC too well, but I mean, Mad Mike, the coolest FD, like the thing rips.
I'm not saying the F. So I was just going to say FCFD altogether, but Zach put me on the spot on what chassis.
Hey,
Mad Mike's FDs have been absolutely insane and super competitive, and he's won championships in those cars.
Yeah, for sure.
But he's always been an FD guy. He was never really an FC guy. He's had them, but he's never built them to the level of his.
I'll say the same thing. Like, I love the RX-7. I love the FD. I love the FD more than.
Yep. The FD is a pretty car, but you gotta like it's just one of those things where if you come up owning an RX-7 and building an RX-7, the FC will always just have a special place in your heart.
Hold up. From here, right? If you're looking at it from here, I could tell you that that's an S13.
Hey, every time I ever took my car anywhere, damn dude, nice S13.
Right, it's like S13 hatch, and
or if it was someone like Zach, damn dude, nice Camaro.
You're a hatch or a coupe guy, you know. If you're an S chassis guy, you're a hatch or a coupe, and you're a hatch guy because of the RX-7.
Yeah, and then obviously JTP was super competitive. He didn't win championships or anything, but he didn't have the money to build it like his Mustang. You know, now he's been offered now he has the Mustang platform in the plate. It's a monster. But I know he wants to go back and build an FC still. It's in his blood.
Oh, dude, you can tell by his RC car, he still misses his car.
Yeah. So, low key on JTP has a FC build.
Does he not still have that?
No, he sold the green car. Listen to that thing, man.
Rips.
Sound good.
I wish Jeremy Lowe still has his car too. I hope he makes a comeback.
All right, so let's do this. Let's go through Dan's picks again. Let's go through Hertz picks.
Just let us sing a
We'll keep it singing. Keep it singing.
Enjoy my car.
So right here, guys, Hertz or Dan's picks: Nissan Skyline, 4th Ford Mustang, 3rd Toyota Chaser, 2 Nissan S chassis, and then Dan's #1 pick is the Mazda Miata. Hertz top picks: Nissan S chassis, 5, BMW E chassis, 4th, Corolla A86, 3rd Toyota Chaser JZX #2, Mazda FCRX-7, Torque Stallion number.
All right, boys.
Just want to point out
we need to come down to a finalized list here and be in somewhat of agreement.
Just want to point out right now, both of the tops for Hurt and myself are both a Mazda.
So
let's squash this.
Miatas are basically baby RX-7s.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start with the bottom. Okay, so you guys have definitely two different lists. Once again, you guys share the S chassis. Hurt does have the E chassis, which Dan doesn't. Hurt also has the E86, which Dan doesn't. But you guys share the JZX and S chassis. That's really all you guys share.
Yeah. We're all going to share that, guaranteed.
So let's go number 5. Like, what can we agree on here? Can you bring the list up? Can we pop
Corey,
it
do you have some?
Yeah. So right now,
where's your 5, Corey?
What's that? My 5. We're running tight on 5, but if I were to break down my 5 just real quick, if I were to break this down, I would have in number 5, I would do the JZX. Okay, that's my number 5. My number 4 is going to be, this is another one you guys didn't have, I'm going to bump the C6 to number 4. So I have the C6 Corvette. So I have a Corvette, and I have some American muscle on here. I do also have another American muscle that Dan mentioned earlier, which it's kind of hard to disagree with it. It's proven, it's tested, JTP's killing it. Ford Mustang. I would say 2013 up. I would say the latest variation, which would be the S550. Yep. The S550 is. Yep. And so obviously JTP and the guys are killing it. And there's a lot of Vaughn, Chelsea, dudes are murdering it. My number 2, this is another one you guys didn't have, but I'm going to throw it up there anyways, just because I feel this chassis is still relevant and super strong. Nissan 350Z. 350Z is becoming very affordable, even though the engine does sound like Dookie sometimes. Straight garbage. It is what it is. But as far as the baseline and the platform, and for me, I also look at a car that has a large assortment of aftermarket parts, which makes my job easier trying to build it. And Dan, you being a fabricator, you know how hard it is when you get a brand new car and you have to prototype, design, develop. I don't want to do that. I want to put parts on and drive, right? I drove a 350Z for 3 years in Formula Drift. It was a great chassis. It was built by Chris Forsberg doing MA Motorsports. The thing was a rocket ship. It ripped.
For me personally,
yep.
They're just the like goes S13, 14, 15, and then the evolution of that.
And I'm going to hit you with this too. I'm going to hit you guys with this one. I'm just going to wrap it up with mine so we can debate. I'm going to throw that chassis up there. My top 5. I'm going to whiz through it. We could talk about it. We can debate it because we still have to pick the final one. Chaser, C6 Corvette, Ford Mustang, 350Z, Nissan S chassis. Those are my 5.
You know what? I would replace the 350Z with a G35, personally.
Oh, you would?
Yeah.
Hey, after what I saw in Saudi Arabia,
because it's cheaper.
The G Coupe, right? Or the G Sedan?
I like both, man. I like the sedan because you can take all your friends, but the Coupe looks good, and you can get them cheap, man. They're cheaper than a Z. And it's the same damn thing.
We got to kind of squash this, guys, and I don't know how we want to battle this, but we need to figure out combining all our underdeveloped brains together into one super developed brain.
All right, so let's say our number 5, before we kick off our number 5s, like what let's give one last argument for our number 5s. How about that?
My number 5, mine's a JZX. And the only reason it is a JZX is because they're harder to get in the States. And that's why I didn't put it very high up on the list, because I do want to get something that I can purchase here without doing the crazy import thing, which Ron Carr got a steal on his, by the way. If I could, I would have bought Ron Carr's. It's a sedan. They're harder to get in the States. That's why it was my number 5.
Okay. Which one was that?
The JZX.
The JZX is number 5
for me, yeah. Just availability. Availability.
We're vetoing that already because Hurt and I both agree that it's way higher on the list, right?
Yeah, you do, Corey.
But this is just another variable. This is just another variable. This is where the argument comes in. Are we looking for cars that are obtainable here where we're at, or overall? Because I'm looking, my top 5 is something that I can achieve right here, right now. I'm not saying I can. I had friends achieve it. I had friends get the JZX.
Are you looking at the YouTube screen? It says top 5 best drift cars, not Corey's fantasy achievable drift car list.
Okay. But
quickly solve that, right? All 3 of us had it in common on our list, right? That was rare. All 3 of us had it.
Yep.
So that's it right there. That stays.
Yeah. Hertz video, that the red JZX, you sold me on that. I felt like an idiot having it 5 after seeing that video.
You got to watch that video.
We got to watch it.
I didn't even get to show you the second.
Okay.
Time.
Hold on.
Well, you basically all agreed on the BMW. We'll call it the E chassis for lack of a better word. But we got that right. S chassis is on all your lists.
Yep.
And we got some sort of Mazda on
The
everybody.
Miata and the RX-7. That's a battle.
Here
I mean,
is
so where do we agree that what's out of those five, or out of those, what's the worst one?
Chat, what's number 5? Help us out here, chat. This is the debate of champions. We need a number 5. The JZX, the S chassis, Mazda platforms.
Well, I guess we got to take an average, right? So JZX was number 2 for me.
Okay.
It was what number for you, Dan?
it was 3.
It was 3 for Dan, and it was 5 for Corey.
Yep.
So by average, it would put it like 3.
Okay.
So let's just get that on the board. Let's get that on the board right now, just so we have a baseline. So JZX Chaser right now sitting there, and we could change these as they pop up. Another common one we had is S chassis. It was my number 1. Heard it was your number. Let's see. Let's go back to Hertz list. It was Hertz number 5, and it was Dan's number 2. So we could put S chassis. That puts it at a 2, 3, or 4. Is the JZX?
You're probably looking at like a 3. You know,
well,
then where does the Chaser?
It technically had better numbers than the JZX, so for now it's a 2, I'd say.
Boom. Okay. All right. This list is looking strong already. Toyota Chaser 3rd.
Honestly, it should just be between me and Dan, because Corey's list was all about himself.
Hey,
it wasn't about the culture.
Do you know what though? I had some people lined up, and I wish we had more time because I had a couple people to fight my point.
Technically,
we'll have time after.
Person that has driven Formula D here.
This debate
was an accident.
This debate is not going to end because we have to get a list up, but we can probably change it after we get Ellis on the horn. S chassis, okay, Miata. Dan brought up a Miata. I do agree with the Miata. I slept on the Miata. He showed us a picture. I know tons of dudes that shred in the Miata. Is it number 1? I don't know if it's number 1.
No, it's not. It's not number 1. It's number 1 for people built a certain way.
So what if we go?
Hey, man.
I'm borderline 300 pounds. Your boy is not putting.
Come on now.
How do you fit in the FD Rx-7?
Like
you
this?
can't be like.
How do you fit in the FD Rx-7?
Like
I sat in one, and I was like a little. I was a little baby.
What argument do you have against it?
Little baby.
Okay, hold on. Let's do this. I do agree with the Miata. I don't fit very well in them, but if you're a very slender man built like Dan, these are immaculate cars. Don't know.
I had a friend who was 6'6", and he gutted out his seat so he could have a Miata. So I mean, if you really want one, you can do it. But as far as like a main drift car, I just couldn't put it at number 1 for me personally.
All right, how about this?
Great car, and I love it.
Where does it land?
Can you start a sidebar list, like just put it on the side until we can.
Hold on here.
I'm thinking the Miata probably is going to go on number 3, and your Chaser is going to get
no
knocked
way.
out before.
There's no way.
No. E30, here's the other one. Here's another simple. Let's throw this one up.
Let me just defend this real quick, huh? Let me just defend it real quick. Right,
we have
can't play music, but let's just watch, okay? Am I optimized here?
we got a Miata shredding Ebisu right now.
Okay, how much fun this looks.
Yeah, but it's
Miata with
ugly.
knuckles.
Do you know what's going to happen is Jason Ellis is going to come here and elbow drop all of us.
Look at it. It's just fun. Watch this.
Jason will probably defend Miatas because it's the only car he's drifted.
yeah.
Chad is saying Miata should be number 5. Miata should be number 5.
Chad.
I'm okay with that.
Let's throw Miata. Hold on. Let's do this. Top 5 cars.
Just be happy it's even charted.
Let's throw Miata. Let's just throw it on there. We can tailor it. We can change it. We can edit it. Mazda Miata number 5. So we have to figure out number 4. You did bring up the FC Rx-7, which was your number 1. I do agree with the FC Rx-7. I'm not familiar with it enough to know about the FC Rx-7 as far as like the engines, the diffs, the transmissions. It seems like those are common issues.
Well, but see, all of these like S chassis, there's no definitive motor. Miata, there's no definitive motor. So we're not talking about, because you can build it to whatever your spec is, but the chassis overall is kind of what we're getting at. Okay. I think, right?
I personally love the FC Rx-7. If I could, I would have an S14 and an RX-7 in my stable. So
I'll let you drive my next one when it's done.
I would. Hey, I was looking for a street shark. I'm telling you, back in the day, the Twerk Scion was motivating me to go blow some fenders off on the street. But now there's so many aftermarket parts for it and body kits. Like I do like the unique Rocket Bunny kit for it with the pod lights up front.
I don't like it.
You don't?
No.
Yeah. See,
it destroys the integrity of the cars. The fenders.
It does. But look at my car. My car destroys the integrity of an S chassis.
Yeah, but nobody cares about S chassis.
Oh, please.
There's nothing.
Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that.
There's nothing iconic about
their body lines. Get out of here with that.
I'm just saying their body lines aren't iconic.
The chassis is iconic. That's like one of the OGs.
How is it not? Yeah,
the S13 hatch, the S13 coupe, the Corolla, the Rx-7. There's still a piece of history in all three.
The only S chassis that matters is the 180SX and the S15.
Please get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yo, can I just mention I'm on an auction site right now that has all these different like Corvettes listed. There are so many Corvettes with just like slight body damage where you can tell that somebody hit a curb doing a burnout or like nicked a parking meter or something with it, like just cracked some fiberglass. And I'm talking, I'm 9 pages deep. There's 17 more pages of these things with like 35 listings per page.
Of which car?
Corvettes, like C6 and C5 Corvettes and C7s. Cheap. Salvage. All salvage.
Someone said I'm a hipster because I don't like Rocket Bunny fenders on RX-7s. It is what it is. You have no style.
Now, I want to argue something here because like you brought up a good point. Now I have zero purpose like arguing drift shit at all because I've never done it. But like the fact that a Corvette, you can like a C6 Corvette, you don't need to swap an engine. You already got a lot of power. You got a 50-50 weight distribution. You got something you can go out and basically smash on if you just put like knuckles on it.
Yep.
So like, where would that put it? You know what I mean?
Corvette?
Yeah.
I don't think Corvette belongs on the list, but
dude, have you seen? There's plenty of pictures on the internet right now with Corvettes slammed on Volt TE37s. Matt Field did Drift Week in a stock C6, and it looks so good. They are cool.
Not that cool.
And they're getting cheap. You can pick up a C6 for like 12.
They're great drift cars. They're great cheap starter drift cars. Yes, but at that point they just fall under 350Zs. In my opinion.
Hey, where's that comment about you being a hipster right now?
I'm not driving a Vet. I agree. You heard. I'm not driving a Vet.
Yeah. So someone in chat said S13s and RX-7s have nearly the same body lines. You're blind. Absolutely blind.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm saying if you watch a video, if you watch a video,
RX-7, but like what a lot of
Zach.
All right, hey.
What are you getting at? What are you getting at with the 944? It's an ugly version of the RX-7.
If you watch a video of an S13 or a 944 or an FC in like 480p, you can't really tell.
All right, this is it. Hold on a second. Let's go back to the top 5 list. I agree. E30's E-chassis. I have to put an E-chassis on there. If we're going to skip a few things, I say E-chassis is going to go somewhere on there.
I'll agree with you. I think it has to be on the list. It's something I skipped over, even though I own one.
Listen, if E-chassis is going on the list, the Miata's getting off the list, and RX-7 is going on the list.
All right. Better RX-7.
Let's do this. Okay.
The RX-7 is a better Miata. What do you mean?
RX-7.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Hold on. As of this, I'm filling this, guys. We're filling the spot. 4th place. We're throwing E-chassis on 4th place. So we have Nissan 2nd, S chassis, Toyota Chaser 3rd, BMW E-chassis 4th, Mazda Miata 5th. I do agree the FCRX-7 has a little bit more culture to it.
So
it's been around. Haraguchi.
Let's wrap this up. It's number 1.
Now, both of y'all talked Mustangs though too.
I do agree with the Mustang. I do agree with the Mustang.
Jason Ellis. Jason Ellis
in the house.
Oh,
the Donut King.
As I got shit.
Jason, what's the best drift car ever made?
Can you hear us?
Oh no, the best drift car ever made is Von Gittin Jr.'s.
A Mustang. A Mustang. We were just debating the Mustang.
Yeah, we were just debating the Mustang.
Yeah, I could be, and usually am when it comes to this, completely wrong. So
yeah, you are. It's okay though.
I figured that. I mean, so he's really that good of a driver by handling that piece of shit. So
Exactly.
Oh man. Now, see, we didn't say it was a piece of shit, but we're talking. There's just a huge wide range.
Wait,
it doesn't matter, Jason.
Wait, is your car the best drifting car?
I didn't say my car was.
Oh, hold on. Hurt,
that's a good answer. Yes.
Hurt, you were bragging about the Rx-7, and that's still almost considered your car. You were trying to hype your car number one.
Well, I think he's speaking of my car personally, not the chassis as a whole. The chassis as a whole, I would say, is number one.
Okay. What about what's the car that I learned to drift in?
A Miata.
Just the frame of it. That's a Miata?
Yeah, so that's basically a baby version of my car.
Right. You know, I've been trying to buy one, and fucking Scotto's like, yeah, man, I'll hook you up. I'll find you some cars to buy. And he disappeared like he always
does. He just find you a car to buy now on Craigslist?
Yeah, because no one else is going to help me. I was like, dude, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to buy one right now and come to the yard and practice. And he's like, dude, going to hook you up. Just like my race career.
Guys,
fucking not hooked up at all.
Do you know what he did? The links he was going to send you, he ended up buying for himself anyway, so he just never sent them because he ended up buying them himself.
That's fine, Jason. Ellis a car
He has
right
all
now.
of them?
He, without a doubt, I don't know if you've seen what's been happening at the donor garage, but there's a large fleet of Scotto's collection.
So I could just drive there and use his, right?
Oh,
find the keys there. So
yeah, nobody's. I mean, not right now. You know, when it clears up.
Jason, how are you, my friend?
What'd you say?
I said, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm doing my radio show every day, so I'm good. But I'm a little bit stressed about stuff. But whatever. You guys are okay, right?
Yeah. We're chilling.
Yeah, we're
doing the same.
Hanging out on the internet. That's about what we're good at.
That worked out then, didn't it?
Yeah. Yo, we should find Ellis a drift car right now. Chat, by the way, while you guys are live right now, let's get some suggestions on what Ellis would be laying the burnyard in. What do you see?
Jason, how much money are you trying to spend on a Miata?
Whatever it takes. Just not anything that's like ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, do you have to?
Oh yeah. Look at you plugging a Miata.
Man, you guys can play video while we're live.
Oh yeah. Look at this. Sawing at that wheel. Endangered Dan giving a thumbs up.
A little bit jerky, right?
Working. Hey.
Smooth. You were
No, that's it.
All right, so Dan's got Ellis doing donuts now.
We'll get back to that in a minute. But that was my argument for that Miata, right?
Oh, here we go.
To back me up.
All right, Jason. So this guy's got this car listed for $6,700, but it has a salvage title due to vandalism. So my guess is the top got ripped and they like stole the seats or something. That happens a lot with convertible cars. So we should just go ahead and offer this guy $4,000, and you will have a drift car.
Yeah, this is real. We're in really bad economic times here. You know he needs the money, so let's hit him where it hurts. Knock his knees out from under him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get that, and I'll Venmo you the money or whatever, and then I'll meet you in the parking lot.
Is that an intercooler in the front too? Is that thing boosted?
It's a Mazda Speed. That's a Mazda Speed.
Hey, is that hard to work? Is that easy to work on?
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, it is.
But you won't need to work on it because you're so sick of drifting.
Yeah, dude.
That's totally untrue.
That's part of the point. Pump you up. Reliable. It can take some abuse. Otherwise, we wouldn't have let you drive that car.
Yeah, I'm trying
See,
to
I just feel like I got to learn how to fix it a little bit because I'm like not a real car driver. I'm a show pony. You know what I mean, dude, flash in the pan, coming in, gimmick guy. You know, like, and now I can't change a tire. It just proves what a douche I really am, and I'm trying to get that off. You know,
you're too hard on yourself.
Yeah, well, someone's got to be.
Yo, all right. So since we're on the subject of Miatas, Dan, can you explain your people why is this a $6,000?
Whoa!
What, bro? Click through it some more.
No, that does not make it a $6,000 car.
Dude, you can sell a hardtop for the price of a Miata.
Hey, that Miata's gonna get yeeted off our. The Miata's gonna get punted off our list at the price.
Is it an automatic?
No.
No way, right?
No, it's manual.
It's a manual.
I can't see it. It's so small on my screen.
It's manual, but hey, he took the time to paint the intake manifold red. So I guess it's a $6,000 car.
Like, no, there's no way. That's not a. You can get a spec Miata like race car for just a little bit.
Hey,
this isn't even $4,500.
It's a special edition.
What's going on?
Nah, there's another one that's for sale at a more
$5,600. Dan, what?
Hey, this is just California people here.
Did you drift tax Miatas just on this live stream?
It just happened right now. I got $1,500 yesterday.
Oh my goodness!
Here you go, Hurt.
Check out the NCs though; they're cheap.
So I mean, this one, here you go. This is more accurate to.
Ooh.
There you go. See, that's a good price.
Okay.
It's an NB. The 90.
How much is it?
$2,400.
Oh dang! I'll take 2 of those.
This only got 100,000 miles on it. Thing will run forever.
Yeah.
All right, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we should show Ellis a solid E36. I think he needs a little more steez than the Miata.
Show him some light.
We gotta get him an E36. That'd be if I were to pick Ellis something, it'd be an E36 with a Jay-Z swap.
Why is that? What?
E36, it's a little bit bigger car, longer wheelbase, a little bit easier to drive than the Miata.
Wait, how is it easier to drive if it has a longer wheelbase and it's a bigger car?
It's not as snappy. It rotates much easier and slower.
You have more time to think about what you're doing.
Oh, for slow guys. That is my car. Hand-eye has definitely gone down in the years.
What I'm thinking for you would be like a nice blue E46 on bronze wheels, lowered. I'll sell it to you.
I was like, why blue? I don't get what's happening right now. Okay.
Honestly, Ellis, Dan's BMW actually would be a good starter car for you.
How much do you want for it?
I don't know, man. Whatever.
Tell him $2,500.
$2,500 cash.
$2,500. Whatever, Jason.
You're full of shit, right?
Dan,
$2,500. It's yours.
I know that. I know your car. That's a good car.
I've ripped that thing, but I've only driven it like 3 times because I put all my effort into everything else. So,
I mean, for me, starting from scratch and then adding everything to it, to me, that just takes more time. If it's already ready to go, then I'm more into that.
It's either that or, now I want to buy a Miata since we've been talking about it. So,
I was just because I have to give my car back, the one that I leased. So I don't even have a car pretty soon. So I might just use that as a day-to-day.
Oh boy.
Dan's car is in the video, right?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. So all right, here's Dan's car.
In action.
In action.
All right.
After T-Pain had crashed.
Yeah, I don't want that red one.
Oh, after this short. Man, we gotta send them a bill for that.
Hey, my name. I get it.
Yeah, no, that's fun. Dude, we jammed on this, right?
Yeah.
All right, so here's Dan's car now.
Oh, there it is. Dude, that G35 looks so much better now.
Did you have that steering thing on it?
What?
An angle kit?
You have to change the steering to it.
Oh no, that's stock angle. Man, they're not showing the BMW.
Real spicy.
There it is.
Oh, running palm line in the E?
Palm line and both.
That's a very capable vehicle, Ellis.
Are you guys like, I shouldn't say it, but are you guys scamming me?
This is the Hoonigan used car lot. We're just trying to pawn whatever we don't have
How
or
are we
need.
scamming you if we're showing you it working?
Yeah, but that's because you guys are driving it. Will I be able to make it look like that? Because it doesn't look like it you can get it super sideways because it doesn't have the turning thing in it yet, right?
You don't. No. See, that's the thing that people make a mistake, Ellis. You don't need the turning thing. The turning thing is for when you've learned the car perfectly and you need more. You don't just get it.
You want to learn on a stock stuff.
Yeah, you want to learn on stock steering first.
That makes sense. I always want the extra shit before I'm good enough to use
That's
it.
going to make your life harder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so that one's ready to go, and I can just that's it. I'll give you the money, and I can go there. When this is all over, you guys aren't going to be pissed that I'm there doing drifting, right? Are you going to tell me I have to leave or some shit all the time?
No, I got an idea. I figured out how the process is going to go down.
The barnyard for you.
This is the process. This is what I imagine. I imagine at the barnyard doing our intermission, Jason walks out with a bag full of cash, hands it over to Dan in front of everybody, and his debut driving it is in the barnyard starting the second show.
I don't want to hand a bunch of cash in front of a bunch of people.
Dan, it's all right.
Can you video my Venmo account or something?
Yeah, that'll work.
I have to go to the fucking bank. God, man, I don't want to go there. This place is terrifying.
So yeah, we found you a car.
All right, because I'm gonna kind of retire from for boxing and stuff. So
I was gonna ask, when's your next fight?
Really?
Well, I don't know if Ellis Mania. I mean, if there is another one, sure. I mean, I contemplated having one more pro boxing fight that isn't like it's proper one so I don't have to organize the event. I just have to fight. So I'm contemplating that, but I know that if that happens, that's definitely the end of it. And I need to. Look, I always wanted to be in motorsports, you know. I just cost money, and I don't know anybody. You know, I live in Hollywood. It's like the dumbest combination ever. Just like my motocross, riding dirt bikes. It's 3 hours to go to a track, so it kind of died off for me. But I could drive to that place if I had that car. I could do it, and all I already know from practicing with you guys, that's the kind of thing. It'd be hard to get me out, you know. Like I'll just do. Ran around until I fucking start looking like you assholes.
When was the last time you were behind the wheel of a race car or a track car?
Oh man, you're gonna put my fight up? Gosh. Yeah, see, this is another reason why I should fucking drive cars. You're killing me. Stop man, look at me.
Oh no.
Stop it.
Oh
no! You got to show this. You got to show this part. It makes it a wonder story, okay? Because you won this fight.
Don't spoil.
Yeah, I know that hurt.
Yeah, it looks like it hurt.
That's a big guy to have on top of you.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really that big. He was just like he's fought like proper fighters, and he's been in the game his whole life, and. That was my second fight, and the last one I had before that was 10 years before that. I'm not. You know what? I actually changed my mind. I watched it the other day because they gave me that video, so I watched it last week, and I did way better than I thought I did after the fight. Like I thought that I got lucky and that he beat me in the striking game, but all in all, when I look at it, I was like, you just got caught, man, and people get caught, and usually when they get caught like that, it's over. But you didn't get finished, and you flipped it around with a half-conscious brain, so it was actually kind of a good move.
I saw you post that, and then I was actually, because you know, I this is nothing I would ever do, so I respect you in that aspect. But also, there were mad fighters, professional fighters, giving you praise for your performance, like Uriah Faber and a bunch of people in your comment was saying how well you did, and I was like, damn man, Jason Ellis is that man. He did the damn
it kind of makes you want to do it again, and then but then it's like the body from my skateboarding. I can't do the training camp, and I mean all the limb. I've got like stem cells and stuff in my shoulders and my hip and my ankles and my knees, and I'm like, I want to do some other stuff that's dangerous and exciting that gives my body a break. And I feel like driving's always been that thing because you can still scare the living shit out of yourself. And that's my favorite thing to do.
Well, preparing.
Tell me about. I'm sorry. Tell me about the stem cells, man, and like how functional. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, if you swipe right, you can see us all.
If you swipe right, you can see all of us.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
It's just like being on Tinder.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do Tinder like that, man.
Sold all for you.
So yeah, man. The stem cells, man. I've been curious about that. Like, how good is the recovery? And like, did you have to go out of the country to get them, or did you get them here at stateside?
I had them twice. The first time I had it in Texas, and I got it in my hip and in my ankle, I think. I can't remember, in my ankle, but it's stem cells that they take out of your like in your tailbone kind of spine area. They take it out of there, and then they spin it on these plates, kind of like PRP, and then they put those stem cells into your injured ligaments or tendons or whatever, and it reduces inflammation, and it helps like sort of grow stuff around to hold it back together. But if you do the stem cells from you and you're over 35, you have like less stem cells in your bone. It's just a fact. So I went to Colombia, and Colombia are legally allowed to get it. They get couples, make sure they're healthy, and then after they have the baby, they give them the what's it called, umbilical thing?
Yeah,
umbilical cord. Yep.
Yeah, and so they take it from that, and that has like millions and millions of stem cells. So when they put that in, instead of getting like, I think I got like 5,000 in my hip, and then when I went to Colombia, I got 40,000 in my shoulder, 40,000 in my knees, 40,000 in my ankle, like, and then, I mean, I could do jiu-jitsu again because at one point I couldn't roll anymore. Just even if I didn't get my legs pulled on, I just couldn't walk the next day from scrambling and stuff because they would just loose and they would sprain themselves without me even knowing it. So now, I mean, I started throwing head kicks at the heavy bag yesterday. I haven't thrown a head kick since I went to Colombia because my knee felt like it would get loose when I would flick it up high. Dang. So I just stopped throwing kicks. But now it is on there. So I don't know. It's not like if you really wreck your shit, it's not 100%, but I would give it like a 65. You know what I mean? I'm 48, man. I broke so many things. I can bench press, and I've torn my shoulders so many times with that stem cell. Really did it.
Wow.
Oh man,
that's rad.
That's incredible.
I wonder if it works on your belly. Does it work on your belly? Like
no,
stem cells, like shrink your belly?
You could get. You know what you could do? Stop eating so much food, you fat fuck.
All right, Ellis, I'm gonna catch you in that ring, okay? I fight dirty. All right.
You mentioned the word catch. Not that easy when you're that big, my friend.
We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you
faster than I look. All right, buddy.
We're gonna get you in a fight camp starting next week. We're gonna find the best kangaroo outfit we can get our money on, and we're gonna send it into the arena, Madison Square Garden.
It's a great idea. It's empty.
That is true. Yeah.
So all right, tell you what, Jason, you've done a lot of different sports coming up, right? I mean, you were the pro skater. You've done, what's up?
That's only one.
But you've raced UTV, you've done, what all have you done as far as professional or at least semi-professional sports?
Yeah, because if you say semi-professional, then I'm going to shine. But if it's real professional, like you guys know the difference between somebody who's pro at the pub, at the bar, talking to the chicks, and then there's, the real pros of their profession. So am I a pro fighter? Yeah. I'm sure in MMA, I'm undefeated. 2-0, baby. Is it really real?
If you're a pro fighter, I'm a pro driver.
I feel like you are a legitimate pro driver. I'm kind of look. It is legit, but is there like 1,000 people out there that could beat the living shit out of me? Lots.
And
pretty good for an old guy from where I came from. But the pro skateboarder thing, that's the only real one, I think. Race car driver. Did I get a check for it? Am I a real race car driver? I wish.
How long was that career, Jason?
How long is which one?
You actually skate and
pro. I mean, I was pro for over 20 years. I turned pro when I was 17, and then I think I retired. I mean, I still get paid to be like some sort of half-ass skateboarder, but I guess I really retired when I moved up to LA to do the radio. So probably 13 years ago.
I remember seeing an old video of you, hold on, I got some like sirens come by in the background, but very pissed off on a vert ramp and just like slamming your skateboard.
Yeah,
trying to find that.
No, do you have to? I had anger issues, you know, I still do, but they were way worse then, and that was kind of the key to doing really dangerous stuff. Like if you're really scared of something, like there was tricks that I was trying that if it went wrong, I would be knocked out and I'd wake up with something broken. Like it happened a lot. So to get past the flinch of like right when you're about to land something and it's so fast that you can't really see it, so you have to just believe that you're going to make it, you got to get angry. Oh, come on.
Oh.
God damn it.
Oh. Oh.
You guys suck.
Hey, this is what you get for calling me fat.
Oh. Man, that bell's wrong. So go,
man. Give me that car, man.
Yeah, well, so talking about that,
you know?
talking about cars, how did you get involved with motorsports, or what was obviously you mentioned that your body was getting destroyed, as we just saw, which that didn't look like it didn't feel very good. But how did you migrate over into cars, and what was that moment that kind of triggered, say, I need to go racing? And what was the first car that you raced?
I mean, properly race was when a friend of mine asked me if I was interested in racing UTVs. So that's when I was aware of Kerry Hart racing the Lucas Oil series. So I'd been to see him, and then I was like, oh my God, 1,000 horsepower trucks doing jumps, because I love motocross. But I obviously, I can jump a triple, but I probably shouldn't. I'm not that good. It's edgy moves. Shut up, asshole. Sorry, my cat's talking. But once I got into that, I mean, to me, I've always wanted to be a race car driver. I just didn't know. I mean, if I ever went to a go-kart track, I always won. So that was my background. I was like, I always beat everybody who doesn't race cars. I must have some sort of natural ability to this. And then when I got the UTV call, like, do I want to be a part of it? I got destroyed. People were so much better than me. It was such a slap of reality that you suck as a driver. And there was so much work to be done, but I loved it. Like, I couldn't believe being in the air and like going over a 100-foot tabletop and seeing a dude's tire in my window. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, that's a dude's tire is in my door. Yeah. Adrenaline was insane. I loved it. So I was, my family, I don't know how much they were into it, because I was bringing, the RV, and because once I saw everybody living their life with their RVs and they got their little pit bikes, I'm like, this is my life. This is what I'm going to do radio, and I'm going to come here, and then I'm going to get good enough to where they give me a fucking, like the truck. I get a wreck night instead of these little shitty buggies. I get up, step out, and then I'm going to fucking beat Deegan. And when I cut him off, he ain't coming to my pits because he will be fucking switched off. That was my theory. I was going to bully everybody and be like, what, come to my pits and fucking black flag this. Like I was going to knock out everybody.
Here we go. Here's let's see. Let me make sure this is optimized. There we go. I think you're up next here. Yeah. Nope.
Couldn't fight it up.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm in therapy.
What year is this?
Probably like 2000.
It's got to feel good to have adapted, that was your pro heyday, and then you figured out a new thing, and then a new thing, and then a new thing. You just keep finding ways to just stay on top of the game. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, because I think I was, out of everybody in skateboarding, I was counted out as, once this one ends, he's surely done. And I would have agreed with them too. So, yes, it
honestly,
does feel good.
I will say, after this day right here, after this day right here, I don't know how you made it.
No, it's like, that's one of the best things about my whole race.
What'd you say? I can't hear you.
Turn that volume down just a little bit.
I said after this day, I don't know how you really. I didn't have faith in you. I didn't think you were going to make it in the UTV world.
Yeah. Well, I believe this is the thing that has always happened to me in skateboarding. I was the most untalented person that was trying it. I had two fat friends, way fatter than you. That couldn't do it. They were better than me for like 3 years. So I've never had natural ability. The only thing I'm naturally good at is the radio. But when it came to the driving thing, it bit me, just like boxing. I think about it all the time. Like I was doing laps of the track in my head all day because I knew that if I couldn't get out there, I could still practice in my head like I used to with skateboarding. So I know it was little and it was little team and nobody really cares. It's Lucas Oil UTV, but to me, it was a giant accomplishment for me to figure out how to get better at the turns. What are these dudes doing? What has their car got that I don't got? How do I fucking brake check jumps because I'm seeing somebody else do it? Like I just, you know what I mean? I'm serious. I'm okay because I've got a radio show and the life must go on. But to me, the biggest loss in my life is that I'm not in the Lucas Oil UTV race anymore. I loved it.
Well, you're definitely the best shit talker I know, so that makes sense why you're the king of radio. But here, let's go ahead and enjoy a little bit of this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's new.
I really love how he's wearing Ken's helmet. They're like, oh, look at Ken out there throwing down on a UTV.
God damn it. Handbrake before. Fuck you guys.
Just hanging on it.
I didn't know.
He never used the handbrake, so he was flooring it and just pulling the handbrake.
I broke two of them, right?
Yeah, you ruined the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still say I could beat. If it was Lucas Oil short course, I think I could beat Ken.
That's a bold claim. We should make that happen.
Oh yeah. Or what if we do the Crown Vic Rally race? Ooh.
Yeah, that's fun too.
A little more speed, then get the braking a little more.
Are you even listening to Ken right there?
It's a nice
I'm in shock.
That's terrible. Damn it.
You ready to just go full course?
It's not even. I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
God damn it.
Go straight or anything.
Okay. I get it.
Hold on. Let's do this. Let's ask.
What about where I drifted and I went across the back of the RV with the.
Oh, all right. We'll give you some highlights.
What about that? What about that turn?
Yeah,
we'll give you a highlight.
When I had you in the car, Jason, there was no problem. You learned really, really fast.
Because you're a way better teacher than Ken Block. That's why.
Ooh. You had a lot.
Here,
you guys are terrified.
Let me.
No, I don't think it was. I don't think it was that he's a way better teacher. I think you were able to put your ego aside for Dan and not Ken.
Oh, you might be right.
I mean, you've known Ken for like what, 20 years now?
Yeah, a long time. Yeah, I'm not in.
Know.
Yeah, I'm not trying to blow smoke up his ass. I could give a fuck what he thinks, and vice versa. He doesn't. He likes me for me. I like it.
Here, I'm going to ask chat this real quick while we have chat there. Chat, can Ellis beat Block in a Lucas Oil short course race? And we'll let Ellis pick the car. Ellis, if you were to compete against Ken, what would you be driving in? Is it the UTVs, trophy trucks? What are you driving?
Oh no, if it's against him, then it should be UTVs because that's my background. I don't want to do things.
Is Ellis going to beat Block in a side-by-side Lucas race? Yes or no? Spam it now, and then we'll get the results to Ellis to see if he
same cars exactly.
Are we doing lap times or side by side, like head-to-head racing?
Side by side. Fuck
like,
that. Fucking fuck.
Well, Ellis beat Block in a side by side.
Highlight. Here's a Jason Ellis highlight. He's not all bad, okay?
Ooh.
I was impressed. I was honestly impressed. It was a lot of fun watching him progress.
Here we go. Boom. Look at that. Critical.
That's full clinch right there, too.
Yeah.
He was all.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
Craziest part about that is I didn't know I was doing that.
Oh, we got Chad is looking spicy right now. I would say it's 60% no, 40% yes.
That's fair. They don't know me. Let's look at how many podiums I got in the Lucas Oil UTV series, and then maybe think again.
Whoa. How many podiums did you stack up?
Like 7.
Why don't you have a trophy sitting next to you on that table right there? Would you bring out some? Let's get some bragging rights here. Let's give this man some. And look at the shorts, 10-10 on the shorts.
Jason actually turned out to be an amazing UTV racer.
Let's get some. Let's see some championship belts. Let's see some trophies.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, chat now. Chat now. Yes or no is.
Just stacking the hardware.
That's real.
First place, Lucas Oil. Now the other question is, how many people were in that race?
First things first, fuck you. Second, like fucking 35 people, you asshole. There's a lot of people in that. Fucking suck. Look, you know who I beat? Corey Wheeler. Oh, she had a faster car because she always cheats.
Oh,
hey, Corey, why don't you go ahead and let Jason know what's up? Go pull out your Formula D trophies right now.
Oh, that's going to take me a couple years to find. I don't have those yet. I don't have that yet. Damn it. It'll take me a minute to make one. Fuck. I'm on the same boat.
Yeah, no, Jason actually, I went for a ride with Jason Ellis before I knew he was a UTV racer.
Yeah, I got you.
And he scared the living crap out of me, man.
Yeah, I remember that. That was one of the most enjoyable days of my life. I could feel your butt clenching a mile away. Boy, you were terrified.
I think it's still sewed shut from that.
Once I knew that, it made it worse. I was like, oh, man, every time I do something a little sketchy, he freaks out. This is awesome.
I'll try to find the video real quick, but I don't know if I'll be able to.
And when you were competing in the Lucas Oil race, you were competing against some factory teams or people that had factory support at that time.
Yeah, that's what I copied them.
Right.
I looked up to them. I saw their pit, and I'm like, whoa, you got 2 cars? Whoa, you got a truck that has your face on the side of it?
Yeah.
Holy shit. And then I saw one of them had, like, dudes from Japan come to their pits, like the dudes that own fucking Polaris or something, like look like factory Kawasaki team are in the pits for a UTV guy. And I'm like, I've got like at one point I had a wooden block under my engine because I broke the engine mount, and we just put a block under it to hold it in there for the race. And I'm looking at Team Dickheads, and I'm like, man, I'm right behind them. All I need is a better car.
And that's the thing a lot of people don't realize is factory support makes a massive difference because they have multiple shock dynos. They have so many different things that allow them to kind of get that advantage. A lot of us plebs that are getting into racing don't necessarily have access to, and that shit makes a huge difference.
Right, and if you don't know what you're doing when you first start, because that's the other thing that took the longest time for me was factory stuff is stronger, so you can ride harder. And if you don't know that, and you've got a car that isn't factory, those things fucking break everywhere you go. If you don't, like, you got to baby them.
Yo,
snap.
Here's another point on that too, since we're talking about factory teams. And things that I've experienced too with factory teams is, they're the ones who are picking the motors which go in their car and which ones kind of go in your car. Factory Honda's not going to send out the big power engine when they're like, let's keep that in our staff. Here's
the gnarliest one. Somebody introduced me to this little chip thing that they put in their Polarises where it makes their Polaris just straight up faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it picks up quicker. And I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, man, I can program. It'd be illegal, but I can put it in yours for a little. And I got one time I had it. Somebody put it in, and I was the fastest person on the track.
Yeah. It's go ahead, Hurt.
I found the clip. It's not the raw clip where you hear me losing my mind, but it's a 40-second clip of our adventures with Jason Ellis in the dunes. Let's just go ahead and check it out.
What happened?
I didn't want to run into you guys. I wasn't sure where you were.
Audio.
Wow.
Those are some sins.
How hard are you holding on, Hurt?
Oh man, I wish I could find the raw. I gotta look for that. Jason scared the crap out of me, man. And that clip where he's doing that, I'm literally saying,
"Oh buddy, oh buddy, oh buddy."
That you see that no look jump? He looks at me, knowing they would piss me off.
That was a fun day.
Yeah, those were good times. That was back when. Never mind. No, I'll say that.
Yeah, and even going back, I want to go back to that factory support stuff too. It's the amount of time that these guys have to invest. It's a full-time job for them. For us, it's like, yo, we do this as a hobby, looking to get out on the weekend and party a little bit. Those guys
you usually got a job.
Yeah. A lot of us are doing radio stuff, or we're sitting on the internet, or we're not doing anything. But those guys' full-time job is develop and test and tune. And for us, it's like, yo, to go out and do a test weekend, you're spending pockets full of money just for a test. Good luck getting a track. Did you experience that?
Oh yeah. No, I did. I bought it out a couple of times because I was trying to tell them if I can get seat time, I can catch these guys. And if it's going to be only every time we race, it's going to take way longer. And they're like, well, it's $1,500. Then I start to know people. It goes down to $750. Then all of a sudden we're throwing in all together, and it's like $250. And I'm like, man, if you know people, I don't think it costs as much. But for me, it was several times there where I was like, fuck it, bring the cars, I'll pay for it. And then we like blew something up on the car, and that was the end of it. Like I just kept hearing, that's racing. That's the thing I learned as well. That's racing, Jason.
That's racing.
Now, actually, to be fair, Jason, you have had factory support on a race team, because I was there with you. And,
you're not going to do the lemons, are you? That is not factory.
Hey, we were a Yokohama factory team, bro. We didn't have anything. We had the hottest gear. We had a race trailer.
You had a car that exploded hot water over my kid's face.
I'm down to do it right now with this team we have right here in this group.
Done.
Falcon team.
Team Falcon, Lemons Race.
Let's do it.
I was trying to get the guys from my radio show to do it, like get a Sirius XM car. I don't think they're going to do it. But
Whoa.
Well, for the laps that you did, it's the most fun, wheel to wheel.
Yeah, no, my only problem was the car broke. I didn't want to stop. I just wanted to. I thought I might be like, guys, I'm starting to fall asleep at the wheel. Does anybody else want to turn? That's what I thought was going to happen. But instead, they're like, man, car blew up. I'm like, that's racing again.
That's racing.
Hey Dan, if we were to build a Lemons car, what would be slanging in? What would we win in?
Shit.
The one that I was in was a Dodge Neon, and it was actually really pretty awesome because we took everything out, front wheel drive, really reliable. But we were getting passed by E46s, man. E46s were just murdering everybody out there.
So we need to get that.
And I had
Ellis is going to buy your E46.
Yeah, I had a good fight with a Honda Accord. There was an Accord out there that was just gutted, and it was super quick. And it was really fun.
Cheating.
So anything that's Honda, Toyota, or just reliable, man.
Hey, I hate to do it, but I got to go, you guys. I got to get on the radio.
All right, bud.
Joining us, Jason.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Hey, seriously, I really want your car. I'm not joking.
All right,
let's talk
Jason,
after all this shit, all right?
Just message me after this, bud.
All right.
Jason, thanks for coming on, man. It's good to see you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. We'll catch you later, Ellis.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Ellis.
Hey, while we're on the topic, before we move on, I found the raw clip of riding with Jason.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah. He was perfectly. He was on two wheels right there and still flooring it.
Hey, Hurt.
Yes.
Give the chat a little something to say to Jason Ellis on his IG.
Oh, you want to go?
Yeah, just tell Jason something. Give him a message. Maybe even build up a fight between you guys.
Ooh, that's what we should do.
We always fight. Oh, here, this is what you do. So you go on Jason Ellis's Instagram.
Yep.
And you go, hey, Jason, I heard what you said to Hurt. Nice job. But just know that you are the true donut king. He'll hate that. Because so the history behind me calling him the donut king is he was tasked to do donuts in a UTV and he flipped it. so he's the donut king. Just go on his page and call him the donut king. Don't say anything else.
I would not want to fight that guy or be in a situation with a fight.
Have any MMA training?
No.
Yeah. If my cardio, if I can get my cardio good, I can probably beat him. But it's not something I want to do.
Not even that. I don't even care about the MMA stuff. I don't want to fight a pro skateboarder.
Yeah.
You know how much shit those guys have to go through?
Yeah.
Dude, we had how many years ago was it? Was it last year where we saw Ellis Mania at the Burnyard?
Yeah.
And that was some of the most chaotic boxing and fighting I've ever seen in my entire life. As it's like a no holds bar, anything goes fist fight while either having your feet tied together or in a onesie or one arm taped behind your back, and the strongest man wins.
That was pretty sick. He got knocked out by a guy with one arm behind his back.
That's crazy.
Yo, but I would like to see
that was Shane Carwin. He was a heavyweight champion.
Yeah. He's crazy even getting in there, you know?
Yeah, and honestly, I would like to see Ellis back in something. The dude is...
Honestly, that was my favorite guest so far.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's so funny, man.
Yo, chat, did you guys enjoy Jason Ellis? You want him back on the show? Maybe we can actually do... We should do a DT or something.
I got straight up disrespected to death.
Oh, yeah.
I still feel it. I still feel it in my heart.
God, Bern, I think there's so much to do with Jason as he's been on the show quite a few times, obviously. Almost killed Hurt a few times. But also getting him back in a side-by-side, or we do head-to-head competitions. Better yet, Zach, we need to get him out to Irwindale to do like a figure 8 race or a bus race.
Or we just, tough trucks.
Tough trucks, dude. Him and Ryan Anderson.
Yo, false rule. I saw it coming up in the chat, and I got it.
Yeah, see, look at chat. Cactus Hurt.
I've already drank through my rations. I need to get more.
Jason Ellis came in gun swinging. And I love the flex of the trophies. He brought out the trophies to prove that, put me in a car. Look at these. Here's 2.
Together.
Here's 2.
That says I'm salty about
Here's 2.
That was said about me.
And then you dropped where's my trophies at?
That's how you
you drop
Hey, if I'm getting buried, everybody's coming with me.
I hit rock bottom. There was no digging me out.
No, but for real, I'm not salty. That's how you talk to your friends, man. If you don't talk crap to your friends like that, you don't got friends, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's.
And that's why I said what I said to Corey, and that's why I always roast Dan and Zach and everybody. We all roast each other. That's friendship.
Yo, and on the E46, Dan, what have you done? Did you weld the diff? Is the diff already welded, ready to party?
Yeah,
it's
welded diff.
So what? Hold on.
And Falcon 615Ks, those are not going with that car to Jason. Those tires are too
not
nice.
for that price, right?
Taking those off.
Just raise
that was
the
not
price.
Negotiated in the price.
No, definitely not.
When you got a good set of tires and they're new, they're coming with you. I got some crappy tires laying around that can just stay there, but the 615s are staying with me. Those are getting turned off on the S14.
And honestly, a talk about either like some sort of lemons race or even a gumball challenge. I know Zach has a bunch of friends that do crazy dumb things, races in cars. We should hit those guys up and go with a 5-man squad and go do some sort of dumb endurance race where we know we probably won't win, but we should still go dominate.
I'll find a highlight clip of my race that nobody's even seen. I'll find a highlight clip and show you guys what it was like at VIR. And in what you think is kind of a crappy car, a Neon. But, dude, we were jamming. I passed a SR S13 on the outside of a turn multiple times. Like, just quick. 1,800 pounds, over 200 horse.
Can we talk about that CRV you got in the background there?
Oh, this is my
driving at.
This is my old CRV right here.
Is it all-wheel drive?
What?
Is it all-wheel drive?
Yeah, all-wheel drive.
All wheels off the ground.
E20. So this is a drift event that we call it Cold as Balls. It was in Tennessee, and it was it was a difficult event for me to get my car down because it was snowing and stuff like that. So I just brought this to hang out with the boys from Grip Royal and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And through the driver's meeting, I was judging it. So through the driver's meeting, I was like, I would like to organize the course to have this jump in it. And they're like, oh, you can't jump there. So I brought the daily out and showed them that.
Oh, you went on a sender.
Yeah.
Did you mean to go that far?
What?
Did you mean to jump it that far?
Yeah, dude, I used to jump that thing all the time. I got more. I'll bring more photos of me completely on.
Please, Dan. And also, guys, when we're talking about this, we still have a debate that we need to finish. We still need to finish best drift cars. We still have to finish that, guys. But before we do, let's go send some love over to Falcon Tires. And maybe, who knows, maybe we could do a factory scallop hand-painted Lemons or Gambler or something race car where we can get Ellis and the crew together to do some off-roading, racing, 24 hours. Guys, shout out to Falcon Tire. Once again, we're here.
Falcon, if you're watching this, you should let Corey, myself, and Dan take your drift fleet, the S15, the Mustang, and the S13 for a couple laps of grid life or something, man.
Kurt, do we gotta to see who drives what car?
I want the S13.
The S13.
Yeah.
How do I get Dio Shihara's old car?
That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, no, you're not.
Yeah,
no, you're not. No,
called it.
No. And hey,
all right, you can take Die's. I take the SR22 one.
Hey, back to our subject. That was one of my argument cars for the S chassis. Was Dio Shihara's old car.
Yeah.
But before, and also too, because we have some digesting to do on how we're going to organize this final list. And chat, we're going to need your help. But what we're going to do, guys, is so we have another segment after we finish the first half of the show. We're going to take a quick, just few minute intermission, and we're going to finish the whole segment, which is now we're rolling into the Hoonigan After Hours. Now, the Hoonigan After Hours is basically where we go to Discord and we pull up the best content in Discord. We watch the burnouts. We finish topics. But this last half of the show, or the last hour of the show, is dedicated purely to you guys in chat. So make sure you guys get your questions, your comments, your pictures, your videos, your memes, your burnouts, you jumping your CRV in a good spot, questions for the guests, anything like that. But this hour is going to be dedicated purely to you guys. So the more info you get in, the more we can shred. We still have to solve what is the best drift car. I think we're getting close. It's a battle between if I were to pull it up right now, let's just take a look at where we're at right now. Top 5 drift cars: the Nissan S chassis, the Chaser, the E chassis, the Mazda Miata. We have the Rx-7 still. I brought up the Corvette and the Mustang. We still have a few more cars to go over, but let's go ahead and take a quick minute break and let's jump back in this. Organize your thoughts, guys. Grab a drink. We'll be back in 1 minute for the Hoonigan After Hours. Give us 1 minute. We'll be back.
And we're back.
Wait, did you get? Were you gonna change gears?
Was that second or third gear that you did?
What gear were you in?
That was a second, third to the limiter, and then
that was. And we're got VTEC near the end too. I heard VTEC spool up.
That's spicy.
Second gear scratched the tires, and then you ended up with a D cell pop.
So right now we're doing a little bit of bonus, yeah. I think it's a bonus run because we didn't finish. We didn't finish our conversation. No, I'm still hung up on it.
No.
Jason,
guys,
I'm pumped to have Jason, but I'm still pumped about. We got to resolve this drift car.
Chat. So in case you guys didn't know, we were talking about. I said the 350Z. I added the Corvette. Like if we go to my list here, I added the Corvette. I added, we have the JZX Chaser, which is the same. I added the Corvette, I had the Mustang 350Z that you guys didn't have. But we had all the S13s, which to me, the S13, I think S13 should be more towards the top. And
S chassis just in general, right?
I think so.
I agree with you, Corey. I'm not like hurt on this where it's just a cookie cutter thing and there's no style. Come on, man. That's where style kind of came from. Look at it all. There's so much that's different.
Okay.
That you can look at your style.
Well, you brought up one point, chat, and let's dig back into this. And I know we're kind of jumping right in knee deep, but what we've been doing is basically creating a list of what we believe our top 5 drift cars are. We'll go back through Hertz real quick. So Hertz top 5 drift cars is the Nissan S chassis number 5, BMW E chassis number 4, Corolla AE86 number 3, Chaser number 2, Mazda Rx-7 number 1. Of course, right? Twerk Stallion. Dan's top 5. The bottom of the barrel, 5th is the Nissan Skyline, 4th is the Ford Mustang, 3rd is the Toyota Chaser, number 2 is S Chassis, and number 1 is the Mazda Miata. So you'll see some similarities in comparison to the two, but what we have to figure out is how we're going to do the ultimate list on what car goes in what order after taking off all of it. So we're also now...
Here's something like I feel like I need to bring up is, and again, I'm not an expert on drifting, but on any car that you're going to use, right? Like, is this just the best as far as how it feels, how it performs, how easy it is to get it to where you like to be competitive, and then is availability, does that come into play?
It's also
sorry to interrupt you, Dan. I didn't say 240s weren't stylish. Don't put words in my mouth.
Well, you specifically said S13s, S14s. You said S14s.
Yeah, you're dogging on our
Yeah,
car.
you were ripping us apart. But I think S13, Dan, and I'm going to go off what Dan said earlier in chat. This is what I'm thinking of. Dan, you said the S13 suspension components, suspension arms, could be bolted onto an R32.
The S13 can take R32 stuff. The 33 can take 14 stuff, and vice versa. So in my S14, I have R33 rear end. That's the diff that I have is R33 GTR. It's a 436. It's just what I chose. It's a beefier axles. So another argument for Skyline and for S chassis themselves.
You have interchangeability of OE parts that are readily available and
makes it cheap. Here's the thing. Here's the argument for the Skyline for me is that it's very similar to an S chassis, and it's now a forgotten about chassis. So you can get it fairly cheap. Like now the JZXs are very popular and stuff like that. The R32s, R33s, you can get fairly cheap, and they're a sick car. I want to play one quick clip.
Yes, please.
In defense of the Skyline, this is one that I just enjoy the sound. So make sure the sound is right. If it isn't, throw your hands up and stop me. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. So this is what full screen. Turn that volume down just a little bit, Dan. Let's go a little bit lower. That RB.
Just let it sing.
Oh, hold on a second. Look who joins us right now to talk about S chassis.
Damn. We got the man, the myth, the legend.
Mike Kojima. Mike Kojima, what are you doing?
Try not to get sick.
Are you hiding? Are you hiding from race cars and everything right now?
Yeah, it kind of sucks. In our city, we had to close Moto IQ down because it was a non-essential business.
Oh, that's unfortunate because automotive and motorsports and horsepower should be essential, but unfortunately with the times, we got to do what we got to do. But Kojima, let me tell where we're at right now. So we're picking what we believe is the best 5 drift cars, okay? And right now, we're discussing the GTR and the Nissan S chassis. And for some of you guys that don't know, I would consider Mike the wizard of S chassis, as Mike has won a championship with Dai Yoshihara in the S13, which, by the way, Hurt and I are going to go drive one day, hopefully. So, Mike, if you can make that work.
Don't
Mike,
mess it up.
Oh, I don't know if that's guaranteed, but we'll try not to. So, Kojima is your suspension engineer?
Yeah.
How long you been working on Nissans for?
I started working there like in the late 80s. I worked for, the factory, and then, I don't know, ever since then, I guess.
So you've been around the suspension game and the S chassis game for a long time. How long have you been working with Dai Yoshihara?
I think like 12 years or something.
And you would say you know your way around an S chassis pretty well?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite cars.
Okay, where would you rank that on your top 5 drift car list? The S chassis.
It's right up there with number 1, maybe.
In your mind, okay, we need to break this down a little bit for chat. In your mind, what makes the S chassis overall so good? And get nerdy on this. Get nerdy on this. We need the Kojima nerdiness.
Well, there's like a whole bunch of factors. One, like with late model cars, it's really hard to get the weight down because the body in white weighs so much because of all the collision standards and stuff. And, that's why you have like 3,200 pound drift cars and things like that. But with the S chassis, it's easy to play around with the weight and get the weight right on the minimum for the FD weight tire size rule.
Mm-hmm.
That's one reason. The other reason is I kind of believe it's the right size. And, the wheelbase is about right to do a lot of things. Like it's big enough so it's stable at high-speed drifting, but small enough so it can get in there and it's controllable like following and things like that. And they could fit into smaller spots, which is handy when you're following. Some of the other things, perhaps the most important thing is you can build a Pro 1 car just buying stuff. If you get the proper part selection,
Yep.
You can buy your way to have a cutting-edge Pro 1 car without having to do any engineering or figuring anything out, really, other than your setup.
And you spent a lot of time on other chassis. Obviously, you guys are running a BRZ right now with Dai Yoshihara, but you happen to claim your championship running the S chassis. And you mentioned something that we talked about too, and this is maybe something we can geek out on here, is how important is that wheelbase and what's the advantage?
Well, I kind of think this is like the short cars, like what Daddy George was trying to do, the Miata and Mad Mike and things like that. With the really short wheelbases, they had a hard time, with stability, and they can get spectacular angle and stuff, but they weren't consistent and not particularly good at consistently following well. So I think you need to have like some wheelbase for stability. But, if the car is too big, it can't fit into certain places when you follow, and you have to, commit more. And following's all being able to react to what the lead car is doing. So the car has to be nimble. That's my opinion anyway.
What would you say, is there any disadvantages of having an S chassis? If you were to say, hey, don't get an S chassis because of this, what is that one disadvantage, if there is any?
The one thing I don't like about the S chassis is, it's an old chassis, of course, so the rigidity and stuff isn't all that great.
Mm-hmm.
And the chassis are old, and even if you get a pretty cherry one, it's been around and flexed a lot. So stiffness and stuff is always an issue. I mean, there's some tricks to get around it. Like FD doesn't let you reinforce the front end, which is kind of an issue. But, I mean, you can get around with some stuff, but that's kind of secret, but it's all legal. But so, like a lot of what chassis tuning depends on the body structure being stiff. And it's hard to get the stiffness under the FD rules.
Would you say the S chassis is better than the Rx-7 FC?
Oh, yeah. I mean, FCs are pretty good. You can make them good, but what I really like about the S chassis is you could just buy stuff and not have to figure anything out, really.
That's the only thing that makes it a better chassis. If that's the only thing that makes it a better chassis, it doesn't count. That's not a valid argument to bump a car up or down.
Well, what I don't like about the FC is the semi-trailing arm. I know you love it, but the car's the right size and everything, but the semi-trailing arms is hard to get to work as good as some other things. You have a lot of toe change under compression, and it's hard to dial it out and stay within the rules.
But see, that's another thing. Mike Kojima is speaking purely on his passion and competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a bigger argument on what makes the best drift cars than just the competition side of it.
It is the science. It is the science of, look at there. So that's the car. Oh,
that's the best S13 in competition ever.
Yeah, for sure. I love this car so much. It was so much to me back in the day. And I thought the style was good. Dye was perfect in it. You guys did a great job.
And
it's
you don't
really
mind me asking, what drivetrain setup were you running in that?
Naturally aspirated LS. It was an RH. I guess the final iteration of the car, it was a 454 tall deck RHS LS. The car was kind of outdated though. With what we know now, we could make that car super awesome.
Yeah.
The engine was kind of a mismatch. I didn't particularly like what that particular engine builder that Falcon was using at the time was doing. So with what we know now, we can probably get about 150 more horsepower out of that same engine. And with what we know about steering geometry and stuff, we could probably make that car a lot more sick. We learned a lot more about suspension geometry since then. We can make that car a lot better.
So how long ago was that running? How many years ago?
2011 was its heyday.
It's like a decade almost. It's crazy.
Dude, and the cars still, S chassis still compete and are competitive around the world. They just won the Formula Drift the last 3 years in a row. So,
and Michael Jima, if you swipe right, you can see all of us at the same time, just so you know.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
There you go.
I didn't think about that.
And that's the thing for me is I know there's some nitty-gritty details that makes the S chassis so good that's beyond what I can understand, trailing arms and this and that and suspension components. But it's like knowing Mike, who's been knee-deep in S chassis stuff, to hear why he likes it, I'm trying to get him to sell me more on it and hopefully maybe trying to give – this is my wingman right here to hopefully get you guys to get the S chassis to bump up. But
you know what none of us mentioned was FRS or BRZ. And Dye has been crushing in that thing.
You got Dye, Turek. Now you have Daigo Saito coming over in a chassis. You have a lot of pro guys going over there. But Kojima, don't you make suspension components, angle kents?
Yeah, we do, but it's proprietary for our team. And I kind of feel that there's nothing on the market that's super wonderful that you could just buy. Our stuff's pretty cool, but it's kind of our stuff, and it's not for sale, really.
Damn, that's
secret
power moves right now. He just sprinkled a little bit of the sauce in front of you, but
pretty much all pro teams, though. All pro teams are all their stuff's, like Vaughn, his angle kit you can't get. Justin, you can't get his. They just all make their own stuff and hoard it until they decide, okay, I'll let the nerds in.
Yeah. So would you?
A lot of people like Turek and Gucci and those guys, they're running a modified Weissfab kit. But we kind of think that there's a lot of things about that that we didn't like, so we completely decided to make our own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a number of things, but I don't want to make people mad, so I don't want to say anything.
Fair enough. I
guess. That's with some of those people, so I don't want to offend anybody.
Fair enough. Guys, any questions from Mike Kojima about S chassis stuff, or are we going to still try to keep that right where it's at?
In your opinion, Mike, what is your favorite drift car?
I don't know. If I was to build one from a clean sheet, it would be like an S13.
And notice he didn't say a 14, right?
But Dan brought up that picture of Dye's car, and that just hit me in the feels because that is literally one of the best cars that ever hit FD.
I love that car.
Well, I like the 14 also, but the main advantage is the 14. If you don't know how to engineer things, the subframe has a better geometry than the 13. But the 13 can be modified under the rules to be just as good.
There you have it.
If you know where to relocate the pivots to, and if you know how to make the knuckle and stuff.
Yeah. So you're saying in the factory, an S14 would be superior to an S13?
Yeah, from the factory. If you didn't know, where to move the pivots. Yeah, the 14 subframe has better geometry.
Right, and that's why you bought parts for the S13.
Which car can go lower from the factory?
Ooh,
about the same. But I mean, if you get good knuckles, yeah, you could drop it super low without messing up the geometry. You saw how low we had Dye's car.
I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, definitely one of the best cars to enter Formula Drift. Well, Mike, we had to call you up because we knew you were the wizard on S chassis. So we wanted to see if your influence would raise the S chassis up, and it may have. But thank you for calling in and hanging out with us. For you guys, once again, go follow Mike Kojima on Instagram. Check him out, Moto IQ.
See you, Mike.
Mike, thanks for joining us. Thanks for the knowledge as always. And
you guys, it was fun.
Yeah, dude, maybe we'll do it again.
All right, anytime.
All right, buddy. See you later.
Talk to you later. See ya.
Yeah, if anybody wants to learn more about Mike, we did a brew with or a beer with. I can't remember which one. I think it was a brew with back in the days. You can search that. If somebody in chat, one of our moderators, could drop a link to that, or just I don't know, any more links to him. He's a freaking wizard when it comes to setups and been in the game.
So did that do anything to you guys on S chassis at all?
No, we just figured out that the S14 is better than the S30.
Yes. And how cool! And also remind us how cool Dye's car was.
Yeah,
All he said was, "You got a good subframe." That's about it.
But what are you talking about the trailing arms for? What was he smashing on the FC a little bit or what?
You what?
Was he smashing on the FC just a little bit with those trailing arms? What about those?
No,
things?
it's just not a. It's a big assembly. You know, so you can't really modify it or anything like that. What it is what it is.
And the other thing too about the FC, on the diff, it has these two long arms that come off the diff. Is that right? And are those the things that end up snapping when you have diff issues, or is it actually the diff itself?
I did break one of those, but that was like, so all of the times I've broken a diff, I've showed Justin Pollock, who's had RX-7s way longer than me and who's beat on them for way longer than I have. And each time he goes, "I've never seen this break before."
You know why?
Yeah. So
you never got to show Justin that everything attaching your subframe is just loose like this.
Yeah.
The subframe is just jumping around.
That's from it getting loose, or like getting half-assed, taken apart and put back together at the track, and then continuing to drive on it loose.
When we were at Final Bout that day, I was like, "How is this even in here? There's no way this is even staying in."
So the other
Bleed the Sheep says, "I don't have an S chassis."
What?
Yeah, what?
So going back, guys, so I think where we're at, S chassis is number 2 right now based off our current average. We have the Mazda Miata on there still, which I'm still kind of scratching my head on. I know it was Dan's number 1 pick.
May as well just knock it off and bump. Just knock it off.
Why?
We have Miata 5th.
It's just not a top 5er.
We need, let's see if we can get chat and Discord to help with us in this. So far, is our top 4 ranking, 2nd through 5th, making sense? I'm okay with S chassis being in 2nd. Yeah. I don't know if there's any other way.
I'll say this. I've personally owned every single one in my list. And that list still sits the way it does.
Hurts. So it comes down to me and you on the Miata then. it comes down to us on the Miata. I get the Miata.
I put an A86 there before Miata.
Yo, and the other thing too is, look at this. We just looked up Miatas on Craigslist with Ellis. $6,700, $5,000, $5,800.
Yeah, get out of here with that junk.
You can get that for
Okay. People are dropping A86. Does the A86 replace the Miata? Let me get the A86 on the board here, just real quick, just so we can see it.
There's just no way the Miata charts.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep this one just lurking right here.
Let me ask you this: if it came down to it, right?
Yep.
Of all of these cars that we talked about, and not talking about the ones that are up here now, but like, you know, bringing in, and I hate myself for saying this, but you know, a Nissan like a 350Z, 370Z, or the Infiniti G, whatever.
Yep.
Which of them is the easiest? Like, it's like almost ready to go, that like you can almost drop it in and party with the least amount of modifications, and there would be
on
like
our list right now.
Yeah.
The JZX.
Yeah.
So the JZS is the most like user friendly. Like you just basically plug it in and play.
Out of the box, the most capable car on all of our lists.
Yeah.
Okay. And then after that, which would it be?
So We have the E chassis. With the E chassis is pretty drivable. Which Dan, you were showing that video of you in the Burnyard. What is done to that you were driving?
Coil diff.
Coil and diff.
PC coilovers, welded diff, good tires.
Okay.
But you take that car onto a bigger track, and it's a little different of a driving experience.
Mm-hmm.
It'll still make it,
Right.
but like an SR powered 240, which is stock in Japan, or 180, whatever you want to call it. That's probably more capable than any E chassis right away, right out of the box.
I'm saying a Miata would smoke an E chassis, like in straight line stuff right off the big long let goes. The Miata's gonna do it.
All right, chat right now. Mazda Miata or A86, spam it in chat. You're gonna help us with number 5 right now. Mazda Miata A86, spam it in chat. We need to figure out what is the ultimate number 5th place qualifier for top 5 best drift cars.
Corolla's gonna cost you more.
The thing about the Corolla and Hurt, I'm going to lean on you for this too, is the Corolla.
We're not talking about budget builds or starter cars. We're talking about the best drift cars.
I'm also leaning at the A86. Okay, this is tough because it is literally 50-50 in chat right now. The thing for me that sells me more on the 8.6 is the culture and the heritage behind the 8.6 itself. Like, to me, that sells me more because that is the OG Toge Slayer.
The A86 isn't a baby version of a more flagship vehicle from Toyota, whereas the Miata is the baby version of their flagship vehicle, the RX-7.
The Miata is the flagship vehicle.
Are you guys?
Best car like 3-4 years in a row. RX-7 never got that shit.
Hold on. Are you guys seeing chat right now? Are you guys seeing chat right now? I need help with this because this is getting out of hand. We have.
It's everybody is saying A86 has never owned an A86.
The only reason the RX-7 didn't get those awards is because of the rotary engine. All right, buddy.
All right, buddy.
So are we bumping the Miata and moving the 8.6 up? Hurt? Final answer? Do you agree? Disagree?
Listen, I said my piece.
All right, Dan, you're staying. I think the people have spoken. The people have spoken, and
I'd choose the 8.6 over the BMW.
We're doing this, guys. Bang! Just like that, Corolla bumped into the top 5 based on the chat, the culture, the video that Hurt showed us of Ueno earlier, slanging and banging the walls, driving like a beast. I think we have a solid 5th. I'm stoked on the A86 being on there.
So number 1 is C6 Corvette.
Oh.
If anything, you just slide the list up and add another one in.
That's the thing is I personally think the C6 is good. Dan, hold on. Let me see if I can find a picture of a C6. And like I said, what really sold me on this is Matt Field street driving a fairly stock C6 Drift Week all week, and it was probably the only car that was still running the entire time.
Oh,
it comes with an LS3.
You know what other car did it?
Hold
the
on.
350Z.
And that's on my list.
It's the same. It says tomato.
The same on my list. That's why I put the 350Z on there. Oh, hold on a second. Matt Field. Hold on, Matt Field. Oh my. Okay,
swipe right
dude.
so you can see all of us.
Yeah, swipe right on your screen real quick so you can see all of us.
Oh, that's how this works.
There it is. All right.
Got it.
Swipe right. Seriously.
Did you do it?
Oh, look at this dude's background. Just constant tandem. What a dick.
All right.
So
All right.
sick.
So
is that Corey crashing? I think it is.
Oh, please. This wasn't you in Canada. Come on. So we were just talking about top 5 best drift cars. I had C6 on my list.
So don't give him your list. Just tell him to make a list, right?
All right. Before I even tell you that, if you had to make a list, sorry, I shouldn't even told you that. If you had to make a list, top 5 best drift cars, what are they?
Well, I only need a top 3. You know, C5, C6, C7. That's it. The rest is junk.
Hey, you can't. The S chassis made your whole career. You better get
I know. I'm just kidding. So realistically, the Corvette, we'll call all of them. That's one, right?
Okay.
Like all the platforms, C5, 6, 7. That's fair. Definitely S chassis. I'll put JZX up there only because I like it as a play car. As a competition car, I think they're terrible. Sorry, Andy. I love you. I think it's a terrible, terrible car. And then what else we got? The BMW like E36, E46 for sure. That's in there, for sure. And then I got one more, right?
Yep. S chassis. You got the BMW E chassis, the S14s, the Corvettes.
Then yeah, all the JZX stuff. I guess Z's like 350, 370. I would choose those. I guess. I think for a simple, like anybody can set up a Z and have a lot of fun in them. So I'm gonna say a Z.
That just falls on the same lineage of the S chassis, in my opinion.
Yeah, an old Nissan that no one cares about. I agree.
Chat, do you agree with Matt's top 5? Chat, Matt's top 5. The only car that I added, that you didn't add was a Mustang. I added a Mustang on there, the S550s.
So with that, for me, like I think in full competition trim, they're really good. But like as a normal car to just go out and have fun, I wouldn't buy it. That's the only reason why I wouldn't buy it.
Okay.
That's just because I don't think it looks good.
So can you turn your phone sideways for us real quick, Matt? It looks like you're at your shop right now, Drift Cave, and you have the C6 behind you. What makes your C6 so good, or what makes a C6 chassis so good? What do you like about it?
So what I really enjoy about it is the balance in the car and its ability to make changes and you feel it. I don't know how many of you guys will have a car and somebody will be like, no, I swear these alignment settings is going to change your life. And then you put it on and you're like, it feels exactly the same. And that to me is what an S chassis is, like a competition S chassis versus a have fun S chassis versus your homie's S chassis. They all feel the same. But with the Corvette, I'll literally make a very small change and it'll make a huge difference. So I like that there's been a lot of progression from when I first debuted this car till today. Like when I was just testing a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, big difference. So for me, that was awesome to see that I put in the work, I make the changes, I work with Part Shop Max, they make the changes, and I can actually feel it. That was one reason why I really like the car. 2, it already comes with the LS. I mean, I'm sure that's on the top of a lot of people's list. Right. It makes sense, right? Like you don't have to swap it. You can buy a car and then go drive it versus at least in competition, right? Because there'll be the arguers who say you can drift a stock KA or a stock E36, no problem. But, you know, there's a certain level that you need a certain amount of power. And the fact that the Corvette comes with that, that makes it really easy. Everything is extremely strong, like everything. You can smash it into a wall, and generally speaking, the chassis is going to be okay. You might bend an arm, you might not. Like the engine is obviously fairly reliable. The gearboxes, they're, even though a T56 is not like the most desirable gearbox, they're strong, super strong. The diff and axles, crazy strong. Like Dirk's over here running a stock diff with like 850 horse. You know, it's pretty impressive.
So you just had your C6 on Drift Week, which it looks like you beat the hell out of it for a week straight. What is done to that thing out of the?
So that car has a Texas Speed engine. Like we built it. My dad actually built it, but it's all Texas Speed parts. So the head, cams, push rods, you know, everything is from Texas Speed. Makes 500 wheel. It has an ACT clutch. It has the old suspension off of this car. So like as we develop new stuff on this car and we have billet pieces, all the old stuff gets put over to the demo car. So it's got like year-old Part Shop Max parts. It has an OEM modified stock front knuckle. Has a handbrake that's inline, and it has like safety equipment. So we did a cage, and it has race seats and harnesses, steering wheel. But that thing's like stock diff, stock axle, stock gearbox, stock inner fenders. The only thing that I did exterior-wise, I put old carbon Kevlar front and rear fenders off this car onto that car and painted them black just so I could have the wide body to get the clearance on everything. But other than that, I mean, it sounds like a lot of things, but realistically, it's some steering angle and some safety equipment and ready to go.
That's a race car, man. Don't downplay it. That's a straight up race car.
Nah, dude. All right. So it's a race car, but it has climate control, power windows, carpet, you know, everything. It works factory. So although it is a race car, it's very far away from this. Yeah. But something that I find really cool is like there's different levels, right? And obviously this is pretty unobtainable for a lot of people. I get that. But at the same time, the C6, my demo car, it can do everything this car can do, and it's got very little work done to it in comparison.
Well, it's like there's a handful of cars that may be able to come from the factory that is ready to go turnkey drift. A lot of people are going to go throw coilovers on it. A lot of people are going to weld the diff. A lot of people are maybe going to put a steering angle kit, right? So how far-fetched is that from your C6? You added, what, suspension and suspension arms, which typically you're going to do on any car anyways, right?
You kind of have to, right? Any drift car. That's the funny thing. People like to say, they're like, well, that car doesn't drift good. Like, people love to talk shit about Miatas, right? Like, that car doesn't drift good without coilovers or steering angle. And it's like, well, what car does, you know? What car drifts good with an open diff and stock suspension? Like, nothing, right? So, yeah, you got to put a little bit of work into these, but it's no more work than any other car.
Well, hey, go ahead, Hurt.
I'll say that I was not knocking C6s whatsoever. I do think they're actually amazing drift cars, but a thing that brings them down on my list for me is the lack of customization ability. Like, you can't really make it look too much different than this guy C6 or that guy C6 or that guy C6.
Right, that's true.
That's the thing that brings it down my list. Drivability and capability, they're absolutely amazing. And they look great.
Well, hopefully that changes, right? Hopefully with popularity of the chassis.
Yeah,
I was already seeing like Dirk was running this year some like fender flare bolt-on wide body thing. So hopefully we see the start of and that the biggest thing is affordable, right? Like there's kits out there, there's crazy wide body kits, but they're like 10 grand. We need stuff that costs cheap knockoff Japanese Duraflex, whatever.
It's just stuff that takes time, because like the E36, E46, they've been out for just as long as other cars, but they're just starting to get body kits and all kinds of things, you know? So
True.
So Matt, while we're in your shop, can you give us a little quick tour of that hot rod right behind you?
Yeah, definitely. So some new additions this year are the intercooler, and this, you guys, can I flip this?
Yeah, you should be able to. There might be like a little flip sign or something on it.
Aha, sweet.
Yeah.
Zach, take a look at this thing.
Okay.
This makes the life a little bit easier. So an intercooler this year with some fans, and it's a CNR intercooler, and they built it like custom to fit in this chassis.
Isn't that nuts?
With fans.
Look at the diverter valve.
Oh yeah, right. It's silly. Almost all the rest of this stuff is the same. Obviously, the engine is different because this year this is a Texas Speed engine, so we switched over to LS7 style heads, which required me to get a different intake manifold. Most people, they will never know the difference, but you know, everything else was basically the same. It made great power. The biggest thing that's different with this engine is the response. The response is there, and I'm real happy with that.
How much power are you making with the blower?
So fully tuned up, like 100%, this thing will make 1,050 to the rear wheels, but that's with spraying nitrous all the way up. And we don't really do that anymore. I used to think that was the best thing ever, but tires weren't lasting, nitrous wasn't lasting, engines weren't lasting. So we backed it down. So now it makes 950 to the wheels, and we turn the nitrous off at 5,000 RPM.
Man, the teal and blue looks beautiful on there.
Oh, I know. We just started fitting the panels today. I don't know if anybody have paid attention, but I've been driving this car looking like a freaking dune buggy for like a month and a half now. And finally, I was so tired of looking at it because although it's nice to work on the suspension, it's annoying. Okay, this is my Irwindale bumper. I figured, why get rid of that thing, right? One drag. That's it.
Flex.
That's what it happens.
Flex.
Yeah. And you can see that we're actually testing OEM knuckles. So there's like some stuff coming out with Part Shop Max that we're testing now since we have the time. So this is a brand new like one piece tubular upper control arm with the OEM knuckle. It's nice because not everybody is going to be able to afford a full billet knuckle.
Right.
That's just a little bit, it's unobtainable for some people, but this is extremely obtainable. And you know, this knuckle is like $500, and same thing with the arm, and it literally gets insane angle, like same angle that I have with the billet stuff. But
that's off the shelf.
Yeah, off the shelf. All this stuff is off the shelf.
Yeah, that's what I run.
We're testing these new tie rods and all these. So, and that's another reason why the Corvette is now a much smarter chassis to start building and working on, is because you can buy stuff. No one wants to buy a car that they have to make everything for.
Right.
No one has the time for that. So with people that like HDK that make wide fenders for it now, and obviously there's a million people that make power things and bolt on, but the Part Shop Max making the steering angle stuff does make life a little bit easier.
Yeah. I've always liked C6s and C7s, so you don't got to sell me on them. But
I think we're not selling, right? We're just informing. At this point, I think people have bought in. They drank the Kool-Aid. They understand. They're out there, right? And it's funny, you know how everything starts elevating for price-wise, right? Now the price of S chassis is ridiculous. I don't know if anybody's been noticing, but the price of E36s, they're going up too, right? The $500 E36 craze is getting harder and harder to come by, and now you can see even the prices of like C5s, which were around $5,000, they're starting to go up a little bit too.
Guys, see, and this is so for me. Hold on, why Corvette fit in my top 5 is when I buy a car, I look at the long term, the lifelong project, right? If I buy a car that there's not many pieces I can add or modular or test and tune and make, and it just kind of is what it is. So I look at something for long term. I think Corvette, the C6, is going to be a long term car. It's not a turn and burn. It's something you're going to hang on to for a while. That's one of the reasons why I put up the C6 on there. But Matt, thank you for coming in, dropping knowledge and dropping the heat. We appreciate you, chat. Make sure you check out Matt Field on IG. Check out the progress of his build. But give a little more insight on the C6. Appreciate that, dude.
Thank you guys very much. Hey, it was good seeing all you guys. I know we all miss each other. Hope everybody's staying safe. We'll try together soon, boys. Hell yeah.
Look forward to it. See you later, buddy. Let's get some hip hips in chat for Matt. Let's get some hip hips. Boys, spam that up. Spam that up.
So shout out to Falcon, coming through, keeping us online.
One of our favorite Falcon drivers right there.
Dude, it's like I said, like the C6 to me is I'm looking at and it's new, it's modern. It sucks because there's not a lot of parts out until now. Like that is the kind of bummer. Hurt brought up something that did really click with me that I wish you would have said earlier was they almost do all look the same. That's the only bummer, dude.
Yeah, no, that's an important thing. You can't really,
But at the same rate, I mean, to me, somebody that's not really into like RX-7s or like FCs and FDs, they all basically look the same to me.
But you're not a drifter or like drifting, so.
I mean, the only difference I see is like very like small stuff, like how somebody does their livery or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So
literally every C10 looks exactly the same.
Oh yeah, they're like you can't do anything with them.
And by the way, guys, we just created a poll. By the way, so if you guys want to take a poll and get your answers in, I'm gonna drop this link in chat.
It's too hard of an argument because we haven't established the real argument, right? Hurt is going to be style over function most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be function over style most of the time.
Yep.
And that's the difference between there is trying to find a happy medium. What's the best of each category? There's style, there's history. Like, to me, the AE86 is one of the most iconic drift cars that there is. Stylish, I love it. But it's absolutely obsolete in today's world of drifting. Like there's no boundary there, right? Like a C5 vet, C7 or C6 vet, you can't put them in the same category as an AE86.
Right.
Like, that's just not the thing.
But at the same time, drifting is such a variable sport.
Exactly.
Where you could say a C6 doesn't belong at Grange.
Right.
But you could have an A86 party at Grange all day.
Right. Yeah, like that's the thing. You can go out and have fun with your boy. Like, what's the most fun car? That's totally different than what's the most competitive car. Like you're gonna have more fun in something that's lower power.
And by the way, and the other reason I threw the C6 on there, I worked at Bonnaroo for like 13 years. So the past 5 years of my drifting career was sliding and driving C6 Corvettes. The only thing that I didn't enjoy about the C6 is the torque tubes. Like, there was always issues with the drivetrain in that car, something with the torque tubes. But once again, now there's aftermarket for it. Hopefully it solves that. But Matt gave us a tour of his shop, so hip. He gave us a little bit of understanding on, there's people making parts for it now. You can throw them on, make them look good. But what I think now what is knocking it out of my top 5 is that it does look the same as any other C6 on the road, which does take some of that style vibe away, which is very important in drifting too.
Yeah. Like to me, the style is a bigger portion of it than that for the Corvette. Like I don't know.
4 months ago. This is 4 months ago.
And shout out to Noriaro, by the way. Alexi's been.
You see these Corollas?
Yeah.
This is 4 months ago.
That's sick.
I'm just saying, like, Corollas are out there, loud and proud.
And it's because there's such a strong culture behind it too, and it sucks that they are costing what they're costing. But once again, they're just so rare and unique now. I would love to have one. Like I said, that was going to be one of my first drift cars, but it's just they're hard to get, and that's one of the reasons why A86 is not going to be hard. It's just obtain.
Look at these cars.
They're beautiful. They're my favorite, dude. I love these things. You have one in your driveway. How does it? Don't you feel good about that?
Yes, I feel great about it. Look at these lineups. All right, like the thing about Corollas is people don't want to invest the energy into them.
Yeah,
that's all it is what you're willing to invest your energy into. But that's a huge part of drifting is the passion for the chassis. Yeah. You can make anything a drift car.
Yep,
literally anything.
Yep. And by the way, here I sent you a link. We have our poll going, which is based on Discord and on YouTube chat. If you want to go ahead and drop that, we'll take a look. I'm just looking at it right now, and it is pretty close. So right now, leading number one with 67 votes is the S chassis. In second with 41 votes, E chassis. Third is JZX. Fourth is RX-7. Fifth is 350Z, and then the Corolla wraps up the sixth. Then you have the Corvette, and then the newer BRZ GT86, Miata, Mustang, Supra, and then Skyline with the 314 total votes. Now, if we head over to R, where we stack up, boom. So we have the similarities. We have S chassis up there. We have the JZX on board. We have the BMW E chassis, and we have the Corollas, which are top 5. Is shaping up. The only one that we don't have on there, which I think is going to be the battle on where this one slides in, is the 350Z, 370Z, and the G platform. If we feel that is, if that's necessary to be on there.
It is. I agree. Like, I hate it because it sounds disgusting and it looks gross, but it is a good car. Like, it as far as functionality goes and being cheap and being able to get a hold of it, yeah, it's awesome. It's a great drift car. It's just not the style for me. Ugly.
These are great.
The other one we're missing too, guys.
If I don't have this sound, then I don't give a shit at all, right? Yeah. That's why I base my stuff on most everything, right? My car always have a JZ in it. That's my favorite sound, or that or an RB. I'm an inline 6 guy. That's a sound for me. I enjoy that, and I enjoy like a really high revving, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. I think that's fun too. The V6 is the worst noise in the world, and it would just piss me off the whole time.
So we're still missing, guys. I think this is where we're going to start finalizing our list here. We have the RX-7 that should be on there in some place, and maybe the 350Z.
What do you mean? Oh, on
ours. Yeah, so we're looking at ours right now, and we're still missing the RX-7. So we have the S chassis, the Chaser, the E chassis, and then the Corolla. So between the Z and the RX-7, I think the RX-7 has, once again.
I'll budge on something.
Okay, go ahead.
Despite, if you take away the legend portion of the Corolla,
okay,
then I will say it's not on this list. Like I can mentally budge with that for an overall broad list, not for my list.
We started with it. That's why we're partial to it. That's why we love it, right?
That is the problem.
It was the first thing I ever really drifted. I had 2 of them.
We're being emotional, guys. We're being emotional with the Corolla right now.
Yeah. Emotions. For my list, the Corolla is very important and belongs on a top 5 list. It is a GOAT amongst.
Yeah, I agree with you. Most of my list was just to piss you guys off.
Miata.
It's not something I actually agree with. Yeah, Miata's a really difficult drift car, but it teaches you stuff. That's the thing.
Okay, let's do this. Let's keep the Corolla on there just because of.
I'm all for the Corolla, okay, but I'm saying if you guys are trying to fight, I'll budge on that one.
All right. Well,
no, a 350 is not getting in there over a Corolla. No.
So what is the best functioning, like the easiest chassis here to drift?
I mean, 350Z. or an S chassis.
Okay, so
that's the thing that bothers me though, because the Z is literally a derivative of the S.
Okay, so let me tell you this. I think I got something in the works, guys, and I want to run this by you because I'm looking at this because I do want to get the RX-7 on there, not purely because of the culture and what it was and how significant it is in the drifting world, but the FC RX-7 is a shredder. You saw JTP shred his FC RX-7, which is a legendary. You had Charles Ng drive an FC RX-7 FD for a very long time. You had tons of people who have put the rotary and the RX-7 on the map, and I believe it needs to be on there, and it's one of the most unique platforms.
Yeah, I bet you could count all of them on one hand.
So this is what I'm thinking, and I'm not being biased in any way. I'm just trying to find a way where we can get the FC RX-7 on here. We can move somebody up to number 1, or what I could do is I want to pull S chassis out, and then maybe we can move the BMW.
Corey,
yeah.
Corey, watch this. All right. Did you watch that?
Yeah. Did you see that compared to his Mustang video? Because that probably didn't even qualify in that one.
Have you seen a Mustang 12 years ago?
He qualified first in the Mustang.
Have you seen a Mustang 12 years ago?
Yeah.
On the field doing that? Get out of here.
Why'd you have to do that to me? Why'd you have to drop that on us right there like that?
That was.
Why'd you have to do that?
That was 2009 or 2008.
Why? That's messed up.
All right. All the cars were lesser versions of cars now then.
Yeah, but then the next year, didn't Vaughn get a win in a Mustang?
2010?
Something like that, wasn't it?
Forsberg's year, I thought.
Was it? Who cared?
Let me see this here. Let me do this here. I'm gonna put the FC RX-7 on the map here. Let's do this. Let's put the FC RX-7 on the map. Let's get this up here. All right. So what I'm thinking, we do have our 5 here, and I do you guys believe this is our final top 5? We just have to organize a list. I think we just have to come down to better organizing the list.
You guys show me this list.
Okay, so number 1 is still open. We have Nissan S chassis 2nd, Toyota Chaser 3rd, BMW E chassis 4th, Corolla A86 and 5th. In my thinking, if this was my list, I would probably move the S chassis up 1 spot, and I would move the Chaser up 1 spot, and then put the FC maybe in 3rd or 4th. I may take the top 2 and I'll scoot them up and put the FC in the 4th spot. That's kind of like what I'm shuffling around. Because I think we have a strong top 5 right here. It just now it's a matter of organizing those to make the final numbers.
I think all in their factory form, they're pretty close together. So if you had an S13 or S14 with an SR, Sylvia, and an FC 13B, and a JZX 100 1J, they're all pretty close together. As far as performance, the style of them is all cool. They're all very similar in style as well because they have just as much available to aftermarket.
And all you guys saying the 350Z's not on there, I think the S chassis, we kind of discussed this earlier in the show, why the 350Z's not on there, is the S chassis is still kind of that platform that supersedes the Z, that instead of having such similar realms of a chassis, that the S chassis would be that kind of whole realm of the Z and S.
All right, chat, what's it gotta be? What's number 1? Are we thinking S?
Let's start with number 5. Let's confirm with number 5. Confirm with number 5. Are we locked on number 5, A86?
I believe A86 has to be on the list.
I agree too. I totally agree too. So
really quick here though, you want it on the list just because it's got a cult following?
It's like you not putting a 3rd gen Camaro on your top 5 mullet list or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean that would make sense though. Like I'm just saying, like for drift, right? It's like functional wise, is it not like, does it like have everything you want to actually drift, or is it like really hard to actually?
Most of them are in stock form, Zach.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
That's the thing. It's a purist thing. It's not even fun to modify them. It's more of a purist thing. I would rather have one in Hertz current setup than something with a crazy swap. I'd much rather have a 4AG or a 20 valve, something like that to just bang on it and have fun. Like that's the part of it. Is it is fun. It's easy. It looks good. It's cheap. It's good.
Okay. See, that makes sense. All those hit. Okay. So we got AE86 in 5th, right? 4th
is the BMW E chassis. E36, E46.
That can stay there, in my opinion.
Yeah, you guys, I'm okay with that too. Oh boy, here we go.
それをつけたら
Why are you doing this?
はちょっとケツが出しにくいっていうのがあるんですよ。でも立ち上がりでトラクションがかかるっていう方向でつけてるんですけど、まあ一番は派手ですねやっぱり。
Sorry, I had to let you know.
That's the only one that's got me. That and maybe like one of the older FDs from D1.
All right. Final. This is hard. I can't believe we're doing this with the time frame that we had. What are we moving, boys? We got to get the FC in there. We have to get the FC. Me personally, I think S chassis should go up 1.
Okay.
Me.
I think the whole list should move up 1, and the FC should be 5th.
Let's do this. Let's do this. Let me like this.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm all right. I think
we're talking about FC and FD RX-7s.
Yeah, no, I would not say FC.
Okay, we're shuffling the list, guys. So we may have the list completed and finalized. All I have to do is share screen. I moved around just a little bit. We'll announce it here. We made some room. Here we go, guys. I think we're final answers in 3, 2. Starting 5th place. The legendary, the one and only Corolla A86, 5th place.
RX-7's above each chassis.
Hold on.
No way. No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
FC. Okay, this is it. Do we swap E chassis and FC RX-7?
Man, you guys, listen.
I don't know.
Whatever you want. Do whatever you want. It's not my list.
Everybody, chat is saying yeah.
Not my list.
So for you guys that missed out, reason Corolla A86 is in 5th place. The culture, the heritage, the OG-ness, drifts out of the box, legendary. FC RX-7. Once again, iconic, drifts out of the box. The rotary, obtainable.
Hertz going style first on this.
The BMW E chassis, E36, E46. You have the inline 6, 3-liter. Put coilovers, wheels, welded diff. It shreds. The Toyota Chaser, Dan, elaborate on the Chaser. We talked about this earlier. The 1J.
The Chaser has more power than everything above and is ready to go out of the box. You don't have to swap a diff. You just go.
Throw coilovers, welded diff, and you have 300 horsepower. And then you throw a tune in and make 400 stock turbos.
Diff.
That's why
now that I look at the list, I'm mad that the E chassis is even on this list.
I'm not that bothered by it. Dan?
No,
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just talking shit.
Okay.
You brought it up.
Yeah, I know. I like them.
It wasn't on my list, but RX-7 didn't even come close.
RX-7 is number 3.
RX-7 ain't even in my top.
RX-7 is number 3, man.
I wrote down like 10 things here, and RX-7 wasn't even in it.
So are you guys just completely like neglect, like just
Nope, hold on.
really writing off that 350Z?
Yeah, I think we are. Because I think
He falls under the S chassis, in my opinion.
Here, watch the screen. Boom.
Nothing with a V6 can be involved.
There we go. FC with Hertz argument and chat going insane right now. FC RX-7 got bumped up to 3rd. E chassis 4th. Corolla. Chat, being the ultimate scumbag, has helped manipulate and move around.
Wait a minute.
Oh, are we going to get the final answer? Has the judge entered the arena right now?
I don't feel like I'm qualified to speak on this. I just wanted to come in at the end of the conversation here.
All right.
So.
Guys, let's get a hip for Scotto. Scotto's going to be the
Yo,
judge.
the chat is going wild right now.
This debate has been something that could probably go on for another 12 hours.
So I literally just tuned in a few minutes ago on the recap because I was busy with a bunch of other stuff today. But I heard, is Dan arguing that Hurt is maybe putting the FC in a place it doesn't belong. Did I catch that?
Yeah.
So here's what we're running into, Scotto. We're running into that we're too emotionally connected to some of these cars. I think that's a problem, right? So like we have the Corolla, which is such an iconic car, but it takes a little bit to get it to a really good level. Well, not really good level. You know, it's going to take some mods. But you look at the S chassis, which is, once again, probably the most tunable chassis. Tons of aftermarket for it. The JZX Chaser comes with the 1J out of the box, 300 horsepower. Throw some mods, it's good to go. It is trying to... A lot of this is just moving around because I think we like the chassis so much. And we got to eliminate that and say, it is good because there's X for it. More parts for it. It's tunable. It comes with the SR20. So that's what we're battling, this internal battle of moving the cars we love so much around.
We need hard data.
Data.
Did you guys, I saw quickly before that you made some calls, you called some other people. What did other people have to say about this?
So I think what we tried collecting is data, right? So we called Kojima, who is one of the biggest Nissan nerds I've ever met, and he talked about the importance of the balance of the S chassis, why it's so important. The thing is bounced right out of the factory. But he did say some negative things, is that they're old now, and they have a soft chassis, which causes a lot of flex, so there's a lot of prep work that goes into it. Matt Field saying the C6 is, once again, well bounced, but they lacked an aftermarket until now. So do you want to buy C6 and then wait for parts to be developed? But now that parts are being developed, does that make it better? So a lot of these guys were kind of more of just giving us data on what makes that chassis good, but also what makes it bad.
Hertz got some share going on here.
Oh, we're back to Jeremy Lowe again?
No, this is
Listen to that thing, man.
Kurt, how important is the sound of a car for drifting?
It's very important.
So Dan, where do you think the RX-7 deserves to be on the list?
Let's just say below this.
Oh.
Yes, below a $500,000 drift car.
No, this is just the top of it, yeah.
Kristoff's in the E92.
Oh, I just want to see what the new RX.
By the way, that chassis has now made it to something written out on the internet because he says that, and it's just
it's your fault for not being here to defend it.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it's.
I'm not arguing the car. I mean, I feel like the E36 and even the E46 is Europe's answer to the S chassis because they don't have as many S chassis there to play with. So, and it has a huge support. I mean, that's why we built it for Knuckle Busters, right? Because like you can just get a ton of parts for it. There's a ton of stuff available for it. It's a great driver's chassis aside from some things that need to be supported or like the strut towers blow through. But other than that, it's a great car, right? So,
So a lot of people don't understand RX-7s because they've never driven them. They've never experienced them. Everyone's driven an S chassis for the most part. Everyone's driven a Z for the most part. Everyone's driven an E chassis for the most part. Not many people understand how special RX-7s are because they've never driven.
So right now you're arguing that the FC should be above E36, E46. And,
yes.
And also, I'm a little confused here because you're saying just the FC. Where
No. I said FC and
the RX-7 and
RX-7.
That's FD.
Yeah.
First gens are not exactly drift cars, but they're becoming.
The FC, the FD, right?
Yes.
So, and honestly, some guys have had a lot of success in the RX-8, even though it's not a car people love. But Tony drove an RX-8, right? So,
As well.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm okay with this list. I personally, the only reason I have Chaser on there as well in second place is we've seen a lot of people, Andrew Gray, Alexi Noriaro, Ron. There's tons of aftermarket. It comes with the
Daigo
1JZ, Daigo Saito. It just has dominated.
They perform on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. And I think it belongs there. I really do believe it belongs in second place. The point of the FC and the FD makes me definitely a little bit more happy with that in third place, because now it's the RX-7 chassis as a whole. Maybe not the FB, but the FC and FD. I'm pretty settled on this. I'm okay with this. I'm not going to say it's... I'm okay. I'm getting to the point where I'm understanding it.
But I feel like more guys are out there driving E36s in the world.
Because there are more. There's literally just more of them.
But you don't like them stylistically.
So now they are starting to offer the style. You know, you saw the one in Poland.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's the best E36 to me. And they have really good E46s as well. So stylish isn't the thing. They're just not as special.
Like with Diaz right now?
They're just not as special.
You know what? Yeah, that's a
They're just not as special.
Well, that may be the case, Hurt, but that's not all the argument.
It's not, but FCs are functional, FCs are versatile, FCs are beautiful, and they're special.
Yeah,
performance is part of it as well.
Yeah, they perform great. Did you not just watch that video I sent?
Destroy an RX-7.
Who?
The E46 or E92 is going to destroy an RX-7. It's just the way it is. That's why nobody uses an RX-7 in competition drifting. Nobody.
I disagree.
But I think Hurt's making an argument for like the grassroots side of the
style. Yes.
That's
half of
and
it,
that's
bro.
what, and I think that's where we're getting this.
And that's the argument I'm making for the E36. That like if you live in Europe, the E36 is your go-to drift car for a lot of really good reasons.
And I think we're getting this diverse list and this kind of like butting heads is because I think we all have our own reasons for certain positions, and I think that's what we're fighting for. Like if Hurt would be style and the culture behind the 8.6 and the FC. Dan has his. Mine is like performance and longevity, right? I like the C6 because they are new. It's not a 30-year-old chassis. They're still getting developed, and that's why I'm passionate to that. But I think we have our own different pieces of criteria, what we look for in a drift car.
Look, and people are making some interesting comments in the chat. One person said like BMW is not a part of drifting heritage, and I think that's where like Hurt comes and not being able to award it as high a level of position, because for sure the FC has roots in drifting way deeper.
Right.
But is that what the conversation is? Is this the top 5 best drift cars of all time because of legacy?
And that is our problem. That is absolutely our problem.
I don't even understand what the argument is, so I'm trying to just get you guys to narrow down that. Micah, welcome to the show.
Micah Diaz.
What's going on?
We're talking about the top 5 drift cars out, and we don't really have enough parameters around that. But I think the argument that you've been brought in to discuss right now is RX-7 or the 3 Series BMW. Which one's a better platform?
Ooh, I'm gonna hurt feelings, but
hey, Micah, before you say anything.
Anyway, we got two people arguing something, and they each own the car they're arguing about.
Micah.
I'm gonna bring frequency to this conversation.
Before you say anything, you remember that time you were in your V8 powered competition E46?
Yeah, with crappy tires. Yes.
And you had a little trouble keeping up with my little rotary car.
Okay. Let's discuss this, because you put something in my head that has honestly like changed the way I look at certain cars, and I think the internet should know this. You were telling me that when it comes to a small track, a turbo car will always have an advantage because of the way it builds into power over a V8 car. So that changes the aspect of driving at Grange. You'll always be faster at Grange. Now we go to like Irwindale or like Horse Thief, then we got a little bit more room to play with.
I ain't doing no Irwindale. I ain't running that bank.
Well, I'm just saying, like that's where you'll see more potential in the LS swap versus the
for sure.
the turbo car.
100%.
But that changed like the way I was like when we competed on like smaller courses. I was like, oh, like I gotta like shallow up my angle a little bit to keep up with turbo guys on the tight technical stuff because they're digging out of corners way faster than I can. Because essentially my torque curve is up and straight across, where the turbo one kind of has like a more of a curve to it where it builds into the power, which is super sick and makes great for traction. If I'm gonna go chassis versus chassis, there's something that a BMW chassis has that, like, especially 36 and 46, that like no other chassis I've ever driven has. And it just like the amount. Have
you driven an FC?
I have driven. No, I don't think I've driven an FC. I've driven it.
Nobody has.
I have.
Who's FC and when? Who's FC and when?
I think we should get JTP on because he's driven an FC and I've actually heard him talk bad about it.
Yeah, hit up JTP.
I'll fight him.
Have him
That's the whole point of this show. We want you to fight him.
Yeah.
I don't know. The BMW chassis, just the amount of grip that these things offer is like insane. Right out of the box. And I think it has a lot to do with the trailing arm rear end style. It's got a lot of room for like squat and get up and go that a lot of chassis don't have.
Here's what I'm saying. I see more people buying. Well, okay, look, you made a good point. There's not, I guess, a lot of FCs. I don't know because I don't look on Craigslist, but I do know that there's a lot of BMWs and they are like widely available. But if we're going to go chassis for chassis, right, just down to like the bare, like car out of the box, right, which one is easier to toss around a track, big or small? Which one behaves better and which one is more fun that you can just go out and smash on straight out of the gate?
This is tough because you'd have to compare a stock RX-7, which like nobody has, to a stock E46. I've driven stock E46s. They feel great out of the box. BMW does a great job with a lot of their chassis. But as far as FC, I've never driven a stock FC or even a modified FC for that matter. So I don't really know, but I do know what Chelsea was able to do with a 46 and a really tight budget was like insane.
That's what I brought up earlier, and why the E chassis is on the list.
Right.
Rogi totally eating popcorn reading the comments right now.
You what?
No, I'm just talking to the chat, bro. I'm talking to the chat.
And by the way, the chat poll.
Chat's a better spot right now than honestly the stream.
Yeah.
Like, the chat's on fire right now.
The chat also has the chat.
One of the comments was, no one's ever driven an FC, and you're saying it's a top drift car. You just played yourself.
No, I didn't play myself. That just makes it special. There's literally 5 million E chassis.
There is.
It's the Accord of the rear-wheel drive world.
Whoa!
Wow!
No.
Quotable.
That's the S chassis.
Yeah.
That's an S
I don't
chassis.
even like BMW, so I enjoy this from all angles.
Yeah.
And by the way, chat, we just put the poll up. We're gonna do one more minute on the chat polling, and then we're gonna close the chat polling in 1 minute. So make sure you guys get your votes in, and we'll see what you guys came up with, and we'll show it here on stream, and then we'll compare it to ours. But we have 1 more minute, guys. If you want to get your votes in, we're gonna spam the link in chat right now, so make sure you get that vote in, and we'll see what you guys pick. Because right now, it's the debate between the FC and the BMW E chassis. Micah Diaz and Hurt going head to head.
We had a lot of fun together, right? My stock E46 and your Torque Stallion. We had a good drive day. That was one of the best tandem fun days we've had.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, stock E46.
Same with Micah. I love driving with Micah.
Oh yeah,
46, able to throw down with a built-up FC. Still fun, both of us.
Yeah, the bottom line is they're all fun to drive. If you're going to look at like a competitive side of things, you got to look at aftermarket backing and what's available and different things like that. And so when we go into, this is one of the reasons why people ask me like, oh, why don't you do a turbo setup or do this setup or that setup? The LS is just so easy. There's parts everywhere for it. They're cheap. If I want a head gasket, I have like 5 options at AutoZone, and they're all in stock. It just makes more sense on a competition side. Whereas if I was going to just go have fun, I'd build a 2J, 1J, M50 turbo. I've even tickled the idea of a rotary. Like, I would do whatever I want, but for competition's sake, the LS just makes way too much sense for me. It's too reliable.
Speaking of that, I remember watching Hurt. I think he blew up his motor, finding another one in a junkyard, swapping it out at the track.
Yeah.
That whole thing. Couple $100.
Yeah, but also and I totally agree. The V8s are a great platform. If it fits your budget and your desire that burns your heart. I had plenty of fun with it. I loved it. And it's a motor that I still appreciate to this day, but I got bored of it. The rotary guys, like actual competition guys, they blow their motor, they pull it out, they rebuild it in an hour and put it back in. So, you can look at it either way you want to look at it. If you have the knowledge to do it and fix it, you can do it.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to head knowledge for sure, and budget. Because from what I understand, Apex seals are like $300 or something.
Yeah, they're cheap.
Relative to like a head gasket for a Beamer, that's expensive.
Well, doing a head gasket on a car is rebuilding a motor.
And it's also machining too. I don't know if you have to machine like the rotary housings.
If you got to deck your head or whatever. Then
that's where it comes in with the head work.
Let me tell you what.
A lot of the comment well right now saying, but you got to be a wizard to rebuild a rotary.
Is Rob Dahm a wizard?
Rob Dahm is a wizard.
I don't think Rob Dahm's a wizard.
What?
He just got tired of relying on people and he learned.
Well, I think the thing is just more people are building regular, piston engines, so there's just more information out there.
And that's that passion is where that boils down. And that's a big part of drifting.
When Vargas was building
A86s are a passion car.
No, I get that. When Vargas was building that,
not really passion cars.
It made me want to build a 13B just because I enjoyed the engine. Like it was a technology that was new and exciting and something different that I hadn't grown up around. And watching him build your motor for the Twerk Stallion made me be like, yeah, that's it. I want to build one of those one day. It's super fucking cool. Yeah. But I do think that, like we're not talking about engine versus platform, and we probably didn't set enough rules for the comparison right now. Because, like, for example, I don't think anyone thinks the E36, with the stock engine in it, especially like the basic inline 6 is what everyone wants to build. Most guys are putting other engines in there. So I think Corey before was like E36 with a 1J, I think was an option he gave Jason Ellis. And like, that's a great setup, right?
Yep.
So it's like maybe we might have to redo this as a platform.
Yeah.
Can I drop a number on you guys? Can I drop a number? Worldwide, there are 69,000 FD-RX-7s. Worldwide.
There's probably 1 million E36s.
That's what I'm getting at.
By the way,
but all you're proving is that there's like parts readily available.
Yeah, but I'm saying it being a special car matters.
Oh, legendary.
That's emotional. Sure. We're getting emotional again. I do agree, but
I would 100% say that the RX-7 is a more legendary car.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Fact. Honestly, it into Initial D.
Honestly, in general, like I'm going to go out there and say the E30 M3 is one of the most special cars ever made. The E36 M3 is a grocery getter that like wasn't anywhere near as good as the rest of the M platform, right?
Right.
So it's not a special car. The RX-7 FC is a car that was basically Japan's knockoff of the 944, so therefore it's special.
They did it better.
I'll tell you what I based my list off of and why it is in order of the way I have it is it's cars that I've had, and it was the most fun that I've had in each car, right?
Yep.
So what I feel for driving that car, and that being in its factory setup, right? Factory setup, just coilovers diff, and that's why my list is the way it is. I've had the most fun in the way that is. So for me, just as a seat of the pants, like this is why I love this car.
Mm-hmm.
This to me is why it's the most fun, because I had the most fun in it.
Sure. What's your order on your list? Like if we're going from
number one, I have a Miata. I've never had more fun drifting than a Miata. It makes you work. Yep. You have to be on it. You can do things that other cars can't do. Like it teaches you all the basics of drifting, and then all the advances of drifting as well. So it just makes you a better driver.
Right. It forces you to learn. You can't be lazy in that car.
Right. You can't be lazy. And it teaches you everything you want to know, especially just keeps you sharp. If you drive a Miata and then drive an S chassis afterwards, everything's in slow motion.
Right. It's just a boat. It floats.
So
yeah. So you got Miata, and then what else?
Then the S chassis would be the second, and that could even be KA. I don't care. A KA S14 to me is so much fun. I can rip on that thing all day. But realistically, I'm talking SR20.
Yep.
So SR20 S chassis is one of my favorite cars, and then the JZX 100 is the third for me. Yep. I mean, out of the box, you can't beat that. It's more powerful than everything else I have on the list. It has a diff. You have fun. It makes you a good driver. You don't even have to try.
Yeah.
To the Miata is like something you have to try to be good. The JZX 100, you don't have to try at all. You're already a good driver.
Great.
I brought up some numbers here for you, Dan. Actually, for her, really. So production numbers of the E36 worldwide, 3,042,396.
Hell yeah!
In the U.S. market, 515,897.
So many.
But that also kind of makes it, just once again, talking out loud, that kind of does make it a good car just for accessibility, right? You stuff one into a fence, you can get another one. Spare
good car for accessibility, like a C6, like a 350Z, like those other boring cars.
No, I wouldn't say it's in the same category as a C. How dare you? How dare you throw a BMW in the category? No.
Michael, what's your top 5 list off the dome? Top 5 list, go.
Well, I'd probably go 46 I like the most, and then I would go 36 because they're very, very similar. They're almost the same exact car. One's just lighter than the other. And then the G35, if like fun, the yellow G35 was a freaking blast to drive.
I'll sell you Ashley's. Anyway, keep going.
And then I want to drive a JZX 100. I've never driven one. They look like they're super boaty and nice feeling.
Yeah.
And then probably I've driven Caleb's S14, which was really nice, but he was like dialed. Like he had nice BC coilovers on it, LS dog box, like his setup was dialed. It felt great. Whereas other S chassis and Z's I've driven, they feel really loose and slippery. His car felt like it had a ton of grip.
The thing I would like to point out is on all of our lists, we all have the S chassis. I'm just going to point that out. That's like one car we agree on. That is on all our lists.
It's undeniable. You can't deny the S chassis.
Look, as much as you don't like it, it's still a legendary drift car. It'll always be a legendary drift car.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's a legend.
So
it's a great car.
The chat is convinced this is an April Fool's joke, and we're never actually going to finish the list.
Oh, boy. Well, hey.
To lock down the list, but have we closed voting? Because I'm looking at voting right now.
Yep.
I feel like what they voted on is...
So, Hurt, I just sent you the link. If you want to click that, pull it up, open it up, you will see the latest polls right now. Let's see what chat has pulled up with. So here we go. Look at this. With 155 solid votes. Look at S chassis up front. Second place, BMW E chassis.
Let's go.
With
That's what I'm talking about, chat.
Now here's this. Third place, and we all agreed, right? That's including the FC and FD Rx-7 in third place. So that's the Rx-7 chassis overall. Fourth place, once again, this was on most of our lists too. The JZX platform, the 90, the 100. And then this is the one car that I brought up. It wasn't on the list or made the top 5 after doing some talking and negotiating, was the 350Z, 370Z, and G.
Do you think that's because a lot of our viewers actually drive that car?
100%.
Yeah, or they're too young to realize.
I mean, it's just the same. Like I keep saying it, the Z is just a derivative of the S chassis. Like they just fall under the same halo. They do the same stuff. It's just a beefier version of the
like the next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. And it's 100%. Just out of the box.
So there's no reason to have the same car on the list twice.
No, I fully agree.
I would say this.
I take the Z off and put the 8.6 in its place.
I say the Z is the predecessor of the S chassis, but it's still the S chassis is still too strong to have the Z completely pass it. That's my 2 cents.
Well, I like the fact that after the AE86, we get the Corvette and the Mustang in there.
Battling. I had those on my list too, and they didn't even make the cut.
Look, the Corvettes are fast in drifting, dude. Out of the box, like insane rear grip. I don't understand it.
It's because all these other cars are like pedestrian cars, and the Corvette's a sports car. I I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hey, I guarantee a Corvette, especially like a C6, probably feels way shittier on the inside than some of these cars.
Well,
yeah.
But like, I can't. I'm not a big Corvette guy, but the Corvette C6 Z06 is one of the best cars I've ever driven on track, and I drove it back to back with a 911 turbo, and the 911 turbo felt soft compared.
Yo, I'd all the way be down to have a C6 in my garage.
Yep.
Like the C6 Z06 is like the most beautiful Corvette ever.
I'd be 100% down to have that in my garage, ready to go drive or drift wherever, whenever, if I felt like it.
I drove one cross country with Tony Harmer in like 2006, 2007, and it's just such a great car. Except it melted all my luggage because the trunk gets so damn hot. It literally melted the plastic of the luggage to the carpet.
Oh wow!
Didn't Tony Harmer get arrested driving that?
Yeah, maybe that might have.
Is it maybe?
May or may not have gone.
Maybe.
All right, boys, we have 2 minutes to make this decision. So if we head over to our top 5 list, let's go over it one more time. We'll make any shuffles, last decisions now. We still have A86 in 5th, the E chassis 4th, the FCRX-7 3rd, the Chaser 2nd, and the S chassis 1st. Any final last changes?
I think, from what I'm seeing, the argument right now is 3rd and 4th position.
If anything, I'd move the JZX to 4th and bump the RX-7 NE chassis up.
I would too. I agree.
So you're saying move the JZX down to 4th.
Yep.
And then you want FC to be 2nd?
Yep. And the E chassis 3rd.
Let's see if we can make this move real quick.
No.
Let's see if we can make this move real quick.
I still cringe every time I hear E chassis because there's like this whole thing.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
They named everything E until they started naming them F.
All right, here we go. Updated list coming over now. Boom. So far, right now, last few minutes, Corolla A86 5th, Toyota Chaser got bumped to 4th, E-Chassis moved up to 3rd, sorry, Scotto, Mazda FCRX-7 2nd, and then still in the lead is the Nissan S-Chassis with the number 1. I say, at the end of the day, this is all so close, and they're all an amazing chassis in their own way. Even that one little shuffle, I don't feel affected. I feel like we're still hitting that strong.
Look at the comment. Well, everyone's saying that they think the BMW and the RX-7 should be swapped.
I agree.
People saying I love the E-chassis.
So,
I don't love the E-chassis.
And this is my point on why the E-chassis were to move up and pass the RX-7. If I take the legacy portion out of the FCRX-7, once again, we talked about the amount of numbers. Oh my God, Scott, why are you doing this to us? Why? The only reason why I say that is because of the amount of chassis that are available. So if you are a young drifter that want to get into the scene, you could easily pick up an E-Series chassis for fairly cheap and reasonable.
Go get yourself a nice Honda Accord.
No, that's a 240. 240s are the Honda Accord.
Yeah.
Bro.
Let's.
Hurt blended the best of both worlds. He's got a
we do a tiebreaker poll and just put up RX-7 versus BMW.
Let's go. Do it. Do it.
Let's do it.
Your favorite car, the best car. So
I'm willing to bet all the people voting on the E-chassis over RX-7 don't even have cars.
Dude, anybody that votes for an RX-7 has never been in one.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell me about your RX-7 driving experience.
I've had plenty of driving experiences. I used to work in a fucking shop. Like, dude, it was like I had to drive them all the time. I helped guys set up their cars. They're all
right, chat. You're gonna help us solve this right here, right now.
They're not.
They are.
They're not. Show me proof of you driving one.
Me driving like JT.
You can't even drive your own S14. Get the fuck out of here.
All right, hold on, guys. Poll's out right now. The poll is out. Let's give a 1 minute timer, guys. You got to get that vote in hot and heavy fast. We just sent it out. Make sure you guys go make your selection. There's the RX-7 as a whole, the FCFD realm, and then you have the E-Series chassis, the BMW E-Series, which is once again the whole E36, E46.
Moto Huncho, I have driven a stock FC.
1 minute, and looking at the polls right now, so far, guys, within that first 30 seconds, we have 104 votes between the two, and it is within 40 votes of one another right now. So it's
Oh, let's go. Come on, people.
All right, one more minute.
The Torch is dope. Don't get me
wrong.
wrong.
And this is going to dictate our final. This is going to dictate our final decision here.
It's honestly, it's not even a surprising thing. There's 5 million cars versus 100,000 cars. Of course.
But I will say the RX-7 is way more stylish to me.
For sure.
100%. The best looking car of them all. Like the FD is my favorite Japanese car.
And that's why it deserves to be at the higher end of the list.
The FC is great.
I don't know because but think about it like this: the FC's had years of people building body kits for it and doing all this stuff. Where like this 46 chassis right here is the first one that's really getting like a legit body kit put onto it and having some style put into it.
All right, guys.
So now the style aspect of the E chassis is coming
all I
around.
see is wheel gap, my boy.
Ooh. All right. Hold on. Let's go to the poll. We're wrapping up now. You guys, your 1 minute is complete. Within that 1 minute, we had 220 total votes.
I love you, Micah.
This was separated by roughly 60 total votes between the two. But right now, we're going to cut back to the top 5 drift cars. We came to a conclusion. The chat has spoken. Micah has spoken. Hurt has spoken. And the final answers coming up on screen.
Not my list.
Right.
Not my list.
This is not my list. This is our list, and here it is. Boom! With the vote of the chat, the E chassis has then passed the FCRX-7 by popular vote. So starting from the bottom, we did get the legendary A86.
Not my
list. The infamous Toyota 1JZ Chaser JZX, third place.
Hashtag not my list.
Hert's favorite car, the Mazda FCRX-7, which would be on top of his list. Then bump BMW E chassis, E36, E46, and then the number 1 is the Nissan S chassis.
3 of these are from your list, Hurt.
Yo, real quick, top 5 stylish cars in drifting. Go, Hurt.
Top 5 stylish cars?
Yeah, just like the best looking cars. Because these are so many different arguments. Like
RX-7, JZX 100, A86, S chassis, E chassis.
Okay.
Because I do love my Poland Euro.
I think that's fair. I would agree with that. I wouldn't even argue that.
Yep.
Anyone else?
I will throw out there the S13 specifically. Once you're going back to Daiyoshi car, the S13. I would also throw out the E.
Coupe, by the way.
Yes, S13 Coupe. And then I would do the E30, the Euro E30s, and the specific E30 model.
They're not really great drift cars.
Everybody,
no, but they look
everybody
good.
in chat who's this. If this is not your list, hashtag not my list.
Listen to yourself.
Hashtag not my list. Sing it loud and proud, brothers.
Hold on, let me take. I'm going to take a look at their list and compare it. So guess what, Hurt? Looking at their list, it is literally the same. The only thing that is different from chat is they have the Z beating the Corolla. It is their list.
Look at that.
This is their list.
Even Hoonigan Bonus came in with not my list.
Yeah, not my list, baby.
Dude,
not my list. Let them know.
If you look at
let them know you were too lazy to vote. And that's wrong,
baby. Here we go. Hashtag butthurt. Also trending butthurt.
Yeah, dude, hey, butthurt has been my thing for a long time. We were gonna make a show called Butthurt. Remember?
I know. I love that.
That's a great title.
Hey,
it's just Hurt shitting on things, and it's just called Butthurt.
I like it.
I think this is the perfect platform for Butthurt.
That was fun. We figured it out. We hashed it out. At the end of the day, we're all friends here. This is how friends talk to each other. If you love your friends, we all got some good stuff, some good points across. That shit was fun.
I think there's still more debate to be had, especially on other topics.
I have so many things saved.
Look at that. Not my list. Still trending.
Guys,
still trending.
Yeah, it's like 7 people spamming it, but sure.
Yeah. The list was literally voted on by the people. It's literally their list.
outside of the Z and the A86, that's one swap.
1,300 people watching. Only 200 people voted. Not my list. Hashtag sing it loud and proud, brothers.
Oh, let's see. 771 official number. 771 voted. Okay, actually, 50% of the audience list.
Of the cars on your list, how many made it? Corey?
If we go back to the list, I think only 3 made it.
3?
No, 2 made it. 2 made it.
Okay.
The Chaser and the S chassis.
Bert, how many?
All of my cars.
Oh,
All of your cars made it on the list?
Hashtag not my list. All of them made it.
So it's your list. That's what I'm saying. This is your list, Hurt.
It's just not in the right
Hashtag Hurts list. Hashtag Hurts list. All his cars. I got 2 cars. I got 2 cars on the board. Hurt has all 5.
Hashtag Hurts list, but not in the right order.
Hashtag Hurts list.
Know how much influence Hurt has over the rest of all of you.
You can't proud, brother.
This is his
You
list.
can't say that.
Damn, yo, Dan out there trying to fact check politicians.
Dude.
Come on.
Go.
Fake list. Hashtag fake list.
Hashtag definitely not my list.
Oh man, Hurts list is going hard.
It's Hurts list, boys. Read it and weep. Top 5 of 5. I got 2. My C6 dropped off. My Ford Mustang S550 and my Z dropped off. I have 2. I have the S chassis and the E chassis.
I gotta say
had
something.
2 make it. 2 of mine made it on the list.
I gotta say something.
Hurts list.
Oh,
What?
no.
It's Hurts list.
I think
Oh no.
today is the best stream we've done so far.
I agree.
I think today is the best stream we've done so far.
This is what it needs to be. The stream should just be an argument all day long.
Oh my.
So
people love that stuff.
Stream, jump in chat, even if you're just watching and not jumping in chat. Tell us the next thing we should argue about, because that's what Friday's show will be. Will be another argument.
I'm still not satisfied. I'm not done with this yet.
I'm not done with it.
We need to do.
I'm ready to hang
Because
up
they make it
right now. So rethink it.
This is moving directly to our group chat right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang up and call Dan directly and tell him he's gonna drive a few RX-7s this year. All right, you're gonna learn.
Well, yo, why don't we just do seat swaps?
What is the heaviest thing in our fleet right now? What's the most fun car to drive in our fleet?
The Miata.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love Miatas and I don't but I just,
we need to do a seat swap. We take Micah's E46, we'll bring out both mine and Dan's S14s, you bring the RX-7 and we just swap seats.
Yo, and I bring the 242. Let's see.
Yo, which by the way, side note, the 240 sounds amazing. I'm gonna love
unreal.
it.
Ben said it sounds like crap.
Yeah, but Vin drives a E46 with a muffler on it, so whatever.
Vin's cars both sound like crap. And there's something wrong with that.
He's the boy. He's not even here to defend himself. That being said,
he's so conscious about it though.
It's that whole what is it? The rasp pipe that you guys need to put in so they don't sound bad. I don't know. It's gross.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I'm about to drop the biggest e-chassis secret on the chat right now.
Oh,
if you simply cut off just the muffler, just the very, very back muffler, you cut it right there, you put 2 blast pipes out the back, it sounds perfect. You don't need anything.
Speed Seekers by Micah Diaz.
It's a true statement. I can back it. I did it on both of my E46s.
And they sound perfect. They sound perfect.
Do you know how to make a 350Z sound good?
Yeah, pull the motor.
You got to route the exhaust into the intake.
Recirculatory.
Just right into the cabin. Either one works.
Oh, that's messed up.
Chat's going crazy. What a show. I think we have our list. Maybe not my list. Maybe your list. Maybe not. We'll have to
my list.
We'll have to kind of keep digging, debating. As Scotto said, guys, make sure you head over to the Discord. We have a lot more debates to happen. We'll have a couple.
Jump on Discord. Let us know. We're seeing best daily grip car. I like that. Best daily track car. Best wheels. Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, dude.
That's going to be a bad day for us. That's just going to be a bad day for us. That is not going to be a good day for us.
You know what we need to do? Just have Vinny and Hurt, and then we'll all just leave.
I honestly won't participate.
I'm gonna pick.
Because this ended on a good note. Best wheels will not end on a good note. I will not participate.
Number 1. Yeah, BBS RS.
Number 1. Zach's truck wheels.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Like 95 pounds a piece. I'm down.
It's gonna end exactly like this did.
No, it won't. I will not.
We'll square up.
Any slandering of any of my wheels. Talk about the car all you want. Don't talk about my wheel.
BB37s are the best wheels.
All right, we gotta have this discussion another time. We gotta have a discussion. Once again, guys, we gotta give a big shout out to Falcon Tire. These guys held it down for us, allowing us to come here, do these live streams every single day, 5 days a week, starting at noon. So make sure when you guys decide to go pick up a set of tires after you do a big old sitter, throw some Falcons on that thing. And make sure you check them out on Instagram. And Hurt, what are we spamming?
the tire. Please let these idiots keep arguing. It's so much fun. Thank you for making the live stream possible.
And on that note, chat, let's get some hip hips. Let's show some love. See you guys in Discord. On the behalf of the stream team here at Hoonigan, we're signing out. We'll see you guys tomorrow. 12.
E46 is the best chassis. Later, guys.
No.